always thinks it's really easy. Most people don't realize that motocross is rated in the top 3 of the most demanding sports in the world. The feeling of the motorcycle connecting to the ground, putting the power to the ground, there's no feeling like it. Core motocross people usually like two-stroke sounds. It sounds like a killer B-pack on the starting line with the smoke, the sound, the smell. And it just sounds intense. And it's just the core of racing. There's no sound like a two-stroke. When you hit a turn really good and the bike revs out across some bumps, or you clean the bike out in the air over a jump and you give it that nice flick of the wrist with a nice clean rev, and that's the reason to ride motocross day in, day out.
A celebration of history, heritage, two-stroke smoke is in the air, and I absolutely love it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wiseco Two-Stroke World Championship presented by Fasthouse here at iconic and legendary Glen Helen Raceway. My name is Jack Rapella from Cycle Drag. Alongside me, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mark Tilley of Dirt Bike Magazine, our host channel today. Thanks so much, Mark. I know this is one of our favorite events of the year. It is all about two-strokes.
Yeah, about the only thing you left out there is the goosebumps, because I got goosebumps on my arms just waiting for this action to happen. We have a stacked field. There's legends here. Doug Duboc, Kurt Nicole, Jeff Emig is out here, and then we have the new guys. We got the Carson Browns, the Derek Drakes, the Dare DeMartels. Everybody's here, and they're all ready to do battle.
That's right. No valves, no cams here today. You won't see any four-strokes. You won't see any electric bikes. It is 1997 all over again, and I absolutely love it. Old two-strokes, new two-strokes, and everything in between. Stay with us all throughout this broadcast, because we're going to bring you the Posha 125 shootout, which we're learning are mostly 150s. Look out for that. And then the open category where there is no displacement limit.
Yeah, you have CR500s, KX500s, some bikes that they didn't even make 500s of. You got Carson Brown on a hybrid RMZ KTM 300. You got YZ300s out there that they don't technically make, but all of the engine builders have built engines for this. If you could actually smell the air here at Glen Helen, it takes you back. It definitely takes you back. But race gas, premix oil, it's all here. And like you said, there's bikes that are 30, 40, 50 years old here, and there's companies that are making parts for all of them. So it's a great place to be.
We're going to talk all about it throughout this broadcast. If you couldn't be here, this is the second best thing. Take a look at this beautiful racetrack. We talked about last year this event was rescheduled due to rain. Well, we did get a little rain yesterday, but not a big downpour, just enough to make it absolutely perfect. Look at these conditions as we get the perfect point of view heading into one of the most famous turns in all of motocross, Talladega Turn.
Yeah, you couldn't have asked for a more perfect watering system. I mean, the man above smiled down on us and gave us some water. It was a little bit, muddy in practice, but man, they're not really hitting the track with very much water. And then what we just saw right there, a full gate of amateurs here as well. So, you know what? Track conditions couldn't be any better. we're ready to go racing.
I love it. We'll see if Josh Mosiman can avenge his loss last year in the Posha 125 category, but look out, defending champ Sean Lepanovic is going to be tough. Also in that Open Pro category, we've got so many to keep an eye on. Our defending champion Justin Heft not here as we watch this class blast off the gate right now. There are multiple categories here competing, and we're going to tell you about each and every one of them. But before we go any further, we want to give a huge shout out to today's presenting sponsor who has pistons in so many of these motorcycles. Let's find out a little more about our friends from Wiseco.
There's nothing quite like two strokes. The crisp sound of throttles revving, the sight of smoky exhaust clouding the air, and the sweet smell of fumes filling our heads. It brings back feelings of nostalgia. But for a small group of die-hard two-stroke fans, it's a lifestyle that hasn't ended. This year, Glen Helen welcomed back the 2024 Wiseco Two-Stroke World Championship, hosted by Fasthouse for its 15th annual race. The talk of the industry leading up to Saturday's race was Villopoto's entry into the Open Pro class, riding a 2024 YZ250, which would be given away. In the Posha 125 Open Pro class, it was Sean Lepanovic off to an early lead, but Josh Mosiman would fight his way back from a bad start and go on to win the first moto, followed by Ryan Morris and Lepanovic. In the second moto, Mosiman would encounter more bad luck with a rock stuck in his sprocket, which locked up his bike. This cost him a lot of time and left the door open for Sean Lepanovic to take the second moto win and overall victory with a 3-1, followed by Ryan Morris with a 2-2 and Michael Essie with a 4-3. The Pro Open class would give spectators a memorable battle between Carson Brown and Justin Heft. In Moto 1, Brown defended his 2023 Open class title by hole-shotting and never looking back. Villopoto started close to the front of the pack, but eventually the fatigue left him in 8th. Behind Moto 1's winner, Carson Brown, was Justin Heft in 2nd and Luke Leitzian in 3rd. Moto 2 started with a Villopoto hole shot, and he went on to lead a couple laps, but eventually Heft and Brown would make their way past him. With Heft leading the race, Brown knew he needed to pass him to get the overall. In the final corner of the final lap, Brown would lay down the bike while Heft rode into a 2-1 overall victory. Brown got up in time to secure 2nd overall with a 1-2. Villopoto came in 3rd, but 8-3 was only good enough for 5th. Rodoni would snatch the final overall podium spot in the Open Pro class with a 5-4. Overall, it was a fun day of racing and celebrating all things two-stroke. A big highlight of this year's Two-Stroke World Championship was the live stream race coverage. Wiseco is proud to continue to support the two-stroke community with events like the Two-Stroke World Championship and products for the fastest bikes in the world. Thanks to all the riders, fans, organizers, and brands for another great day of smoke and dirt.
And that is how it all went down last year. Big thanks to our friends from Wiseco for that. And as promised, stepping into the booth with me, Kevin Bailey from Wiseco. Kevin, tell me a little bit about this great product. I know this is how you guys started, and you guys have stayed committed to your two-stroke roots, and I love it.
Yeah, we love this event. We look forward to it every single year, and this is how we started. This is what it's all about for us. Wiseco started making two-stroke pistons in the USA right here in 1941, and we're still doing it to this day. So this is really the roots of racing for us.
Well, what's cool is there was a time when this industry was all two-stroke. We've shifted and we've gone four-stroke, but are you still seeing that demand out there, that passion, that love for this group that just doesn't want to let go of those glorious two-strokes?
Absolutely. The two-stroke lovers are still at the top. The number one pistons that we sell are all two-strokes still. People just have a love for it. The sound, the smell, just everything about it. Can't be replaced.
Very cool. And I know you get to attend a lot of events. I know you do a lot in racing. What's your impression so far of the vibe, not only on the track, but out there in the pits? It really seems like a festival-like atmosphere where everybody's just in a great mood.
Absolutely. It's buzzing out there for sure. People are rolling in. There's a line to get in the gate. It's beautiful weather outside. I think people are really excited to be here, watch some racing, do some racing, and everything in between.
Kevin, I love it. Where can they find out more information about Wiseco Pistons?
Wiseco.com. That'll give you everything you need to find what you're looking for.
Well, you're awesome. Any favorites today? Anybody you're pulling for in particular with a Wiseco Piston inside?
Man, so many fast guys out there, but I always love watching Carson Brown ride.
Well, good stuff. Well, thank you very much, Kevin. We really appreciate it. And speaking of fast, we want to pay homage to another one of our great sponsors, Fasthouse. And we told you there's going to be a lot of surprise riders here. You never know who will show up for this event. But again, we really want to thank our friends from Fasthouse. Let's find out a little bit more about them.
So we're down here in the Fasthouse pits, and it's a huge pit. We're down here with Kenny from Fasthouse. Kenny's a huge supporter of these one-off type events. The two-stroke race, you can't really think of the two-stroke race without thinking of Kenny and Fasthouse. Kenny, we're here every year. We're talking about the same stuff again. What brings you back to doing this event?
Well, you know what? It's just, first of all, I love two-strokes. And our company, we kind of, cherish the guys who got us here, the bikes and stuff. It's been decades, that we've been doing this. And, there's no way, it's nothing better than spending a bunch of time, on some two-strokes and hanging with a bunch of buddies.
Yeah, well, hanging out with all your friends, hanging out with family, hanging out with riders that are family. You usually filled a bunch of riders at this event.
Yeah, we'll have about 10 to 12 tomorrow, I believe. Had a couple people get hurt this year, but, we got some fill-in riders. I think that's pretty damn awesome. He's not actually a fill-in rider. He's been with Fasthouse since we got started, named Darren Durham, and we're looking forward to seeing him pop some wheelies tomorrow.
Well, yeah, and he's come really close to winning a couple of these races in the past, so I think he's got a really good shot at it.
Yeah, I think it was about 4 years ago. Him and Zach Bell went at it for quite a while, and Darren ended up, in the last turn, running, crossing the berm or something like that, and Zach got him, but it was one hell of a race.
Well, speaking of Darren, they got their premier rider right here. We're going to talk to Darren. Now, Darren, you've raced National, you've raced Supercross. It seems like when you come to these events, you got a big smile on your face the whole time.
Yeah, I just enjoy racing, especially I don't get to do it as much anymore. It's more of a hobby for me now, and it's really fun to get out and race, and to do it at this level is pretty fun, pretty awesome.
So now you've been with Fasthouse for a long time, like Kenny said earlier. You almost won this race a couple times, but I know one time it came down to that last turn. Now, coming off the couch, I think you're coming off the couch because Kenny was saying something about being a fill-in rider, but you're at these all the time. How do you think you'll do?
I'm just hoping to put in a consistent race. I haven't raced a lot lately, and it's been so cold back in Pennsylvania. I haven't rode a lot either, so I'm going to try to ride smooth, ride hard the whole time, and I think as long as I get a good start and put in some good laps, I can be up front battling with those guys.
All right, well, there you have it. He's got a smile on his face already. He's ready to do some battle, get up on the podium, hang out with some friends, and the Fasthouse guys are coming for that number one spot.
Wait a minute. What was he talking about over there? He was wanting to bend some elbows. Maybe he was saying, I'm going to twist the throttle.
Yeah, I think that was more like some 12-ounce curls for sure.
That was so awesome, man. Like we said, you never know who will show up, and we really want to thank Wiseco and Fasthouse, two of the great sponsors, for making this happen. We got a lot of other sponsors we're going to hit throughout this broadcast, including Glen Helen, our host track. We absolutely love you guys. But as for now, we're going to step away for just a second, and when we return, we're going to bring you some amazing Moto 1 Posha 125 action. We'll be right back.
This live stream is being brought to you by Fasthouse, the official racing gear of the World Two-Stroke Championship. Big names in this race, and they're all on 125 or 150 two-strokes. And I mean, you can see the smoke coming up, and everybody's ready to go. Like you said, I'm just as excited as you are. Walking through the pits, there's a million people here. It's great.
It is. It's a gorgeous day for racing. Track conditions are ideal. Just a little bit of precipitation yesterday, and that has watered the racetrack as we're just moments away from taking a look at our starting grid, guys. It is the Wiseco World Two-Stroke Championship hosted by Fasthouse. So many racers here from all over as we are closing in. That card is up. Here we go. One of the toughest starts in all of motocross. Let's hear those 150s sing. We are off. Drop the gate. Who will be the first to Talladega turn as we race to the Glen Helen Hollywood sign?
And that looks like Sean Lepinovich out front. Brian Marias looks like he's in second or third, but we got four different manufacturers up there now. 125s are ready to go.
Listen to these babies sing. This is about a nod to a bygone era. This is about harking back to when it was all two strokes. It seems like a long time ago, Mark, but we are reliving the glory days right now as these fine men try to squeeze every inch of horsepower they possibly can out of these 150cc machines. Look at this battle right from the jump, 22 stories high, up to Mount St. Glen Helen. A little bit of contact right there. Rubbin is racing here this morning.
Yeah, no, that looks like that's a Husky out front. That might be our buddy Kai Aiello from the Off-Road Series, but that looks like it might be Kai in first. That's Lepinovich in second. Oh, Lepinovich going around him.
The defending champion, he won it all last year, teaches a school here day in, day out at Glen Helen. Perhaps nobody has more track time than him, but yeah, watch out for Kai Aiello. Has made every night show of every Supercross that he has entered this year, and that's just some of the talent in this field. This field is stacked.
Yeah, and you got to pay attention to the third place rider in the group right now. Well, actually, second place rider now. That's Steven Tokarski. He's a former test rider for Yamaha. He's back on a Yamaha. Now I believe he works for Vital MX, but he's on a Schneike-built Pro Circuit YZ125, and That bike is fast. I can attest to it because that's the same bike that we built for my son about a year ago for Jacob Tilley, and I've ridden it, and it scares me. So I know that bike's fast. I know Lepenovich is gas. I believe he's on a gas this year. That bike's fast. He's put on a lot of work. I know that he couldn't test for me for the last couple of weeks because he was doing that testing on that bike. So it's going to get interesting.
We've got 5 riders all almost in the same turn. What a great battle here as we listen to these 150 Sing. Had an opportunity to look at some of them in the pits. A lot of them have the throwback livery, but they are modern. They are modded out. A lot of them with that very, very potent Lectron carburetor in use.
Exactly. Some of these guys are running. I see Ryan Marias kind of peeking his head in there, and that wasn't Kyle. That was number 636. We'll have to get a name on that. It's Luke Katzlesen.
Oh, wow.
So Luke was running out front. So sorry about that, Luke. But Luke making that Husky look really good. And what we see coming in the picture, what we just saw right there, that's Ryan Marias, who's riding probably an R&D KTM. He's part of the R&D department at KTM. And then I believe that's Josh Mosman from our sister publication, Motocross Action, on the Posha bike that we were talking about a little bit earlier with that Lectron carburetor.
Yeah, we told you this field is stacked. Talked to Ryan Morris. He wants to get his title back. Won this thing in 2023. Last year was Lepenovich who was able to take the win. And as for your buddy, Motocross Action test rider Josh Mosman, remember last year he won Moto 1, suffered a horrible incident in Moto 2. He had a rock get stuck in the countershaft sprocket, and that caused him to drift back. He said he wants to avenge the loss here today.
Exactly. Well, and you can see on these 2 motorcycles right here, Steven, I believe, is on a YZ125. It's, like I said, built by the crew at Pro Circuit. I think Lepenovich is on a 150. So you can run up to 150 cc's in this division, and then I believe that Marias on the back end of these guys is on a 150, but a fuel-injected 150. So I'm not sure if Lepenovich's bike is fuel-injected or if it is a carbureted model, but I know that bike's fast too. So it's a lot of interesting things going on behind the scenes here on horsepower, and then Lepenovich might have the horsepower, and then he's not very big. So he's got some of that stuff coming up the hill. Not to say that Steven Tokarski's that big, but he's been retired for a little while, so there might be some mid-weight that's in there.
Well, that is a topic that we're going to have to discuss today because we've got a lot of blasts from the past, a lot of really, really speedy guys here who, just like you said last year, they never lose the talent, but sometimes that conditioning goes away if you take a step back. Very interested to see what Darren Durham can do. He's here from Pennsylvania. He was scary fast. The question is, has he been training like he used to train back in the day?
Exactly, and I don't think it's taken that serious with those guys. The Fasthouse guys always come with fast guys. Some of them, like what we saw last year with Justin Heff, he definitely pulled it out and pulled out the win in the Open Pro class. So, it's just cool to see. I mean, as I was walking up here this morning, I was talking to Steven, and everybody has smiles on their faces. So I'm not sure if it's the euphoria of the 2-stroke burning race gas and all that stuff, but everybody has a smile on their face, or at least they did before the motor.
Well, I can speak to that, and I want to thank Glen Helen and all of our great sponsors who made this event possible, because I don't know everybody's age watching this, but if you're of my age, of Mark's age, when I rolled in the gate, I just felt like I was back in 1997, and it's so glorious. It's so cool. For you kids out there that know nothing but 4-strokes and now maybe electric bikes, this is the way it used to be for a long, long time. I mean, pre-1997, if you had a 4-stroke, you had an XR Woods bike.
Exactly, and you weren't going very fast. Like your hero was Scott Summers in the GNCC series. So yeah, I mean it's great. The cool part about this event and the cool part about this race is you'll see bikes, brand new bikes, going against bikes that are 30 years old. Like, so we're doing projects like this all the time, and you see some of that stuff on this broadcast and on our social media and on this YouTube channel that you're watching right now. There's a bunch of other project bikes that we built that are, some of them pretty close to my age. So it's definitely a fun thing to do, and it looks like it's heating up for the lead here. Tokarski to the inside. Will he make the pass?
Oh, we're bar to bar.
Oh, he shut him down.
Looking for some California real estate to try to get around him here as we continue to bring you this great action live on the Dirt Bike YouTube channel. We want to say thank you to our friends at Dirt Bike. Thank you to our friends at Glen Helen. Keep this great event alive out there in the pits, Mark. It feels like a pro national vibe.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. There's because there's probably more pros here than doing nationals or that have done nationals than anywhere else in California for sure right now. But we can't count out. You got to look at that guy with that orange helmet. He's coming in. He's actually passed Ryan Morais, and he's coming into third place right now. Tokarski trying to go around the Pitovich right now. Will he be able to make it stick? Or will he shut the door? Oh, he shut the door.
Oh, my goodness, contact. Lepanovich putting on a clinic right now for all of his students, how to block, how to take the good line. Mark, you tell me you've been out there so many times. Where do you like to pass on this racetrack, even though this track's a little different than what we see?
Oh, Tokarski goes down.
Tokarski goes down. Well, that's not going to help him get around. Now he's got work to do.
His legendary mechanic, Alan Olson, is not going to be happy about that. So, you know what? When it comes to, normally I would be able to say, I know exactly where you can pass on this track. I know what you can do. You make up a lot of time going up and down the hills, especially coming down the hills, you can leave that throttle wide open. But it's kind of hard because having the rain that we've had lately, this track is conditions that even locals aren't really used to. So it's going to be all out, pass where you can, twist that throttle, stretch that throttle cable, and go for it.
What a beautiful day for racing as we continue on. This is the Wiseco Two-Stroke Championship hosted by Fasthouse. Jack Cabello, Mark Tilley here with you. We're going to hit all of our great sponsors throughout the day, too. We want to thank Lectron for coming aboard. What a great product they have. A carburetor that requires no jetting. Can you believe that? The metering rod in there. No, don't have to mess with the pilot, the main, all that stuff we used to do. Mark, you have to explain to kids what that was like back in 97. Taking the carb off 20 times to get the jetting right.
Exactly. It's definitely not. We were talking to Posha earlier about this. Wow. So Mosman is really comfortable on this bike. He's been racing this bike for the last 3 years at this event and in this class. So Mosman is definitely familiar with this motorcycle, and we talked to him a little bit about it, and he's wanting that win. He's definitely wanting to rejuvenate himself a little bit, and the track right now, it might not look like it, but it's pretty clean and pretty. It's definitely not going to be as rough as it will be later on today. So some lines developing and kind of going from there. And it looks like Tokarski continues to go backwards on that Yamaha because we just saw.
Oh, Mosman airing it out on that Posha. 125 gets around him with the Lectron carburetor.
That was an insanely nice pass.
Oh, beautiful job by Josh Mosman. We told you he's got a chip on his shoulder right in that turn. Last year is where a rock got stuck on his countershaft sprocket and perhaps cost him the overall at this race. Josh Mosman, a man on a mission. He has been training so hard for this.
You can see that Mosman and Morais have a little bit better line selection right now than Lepanovich. Lepanovich kind of burying his bike in some of those corners, whereas Mosman and Morais staying out of the really deep stuff. So that's going to be interesting to see. And like I said, Morais passed Tokarski, and he's headed to the front now. So Morais does a lot of riding here for testing-wise. I mean, all three of these guys do a ton of riding here, so they're all familiar with the track. But like I said, these conditions aren't like what we see here very often. It's rutted, they're soft ruts, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see where Ryan is going to be able to pick off from.
Tremendous battle we are witnessing here. Open
around
up
the
a Green Day
outside.
Racing.
Around the outside, nice.
Wow, beautiful. That outside line works to perfection. Can he make it stick? Let's find out as we continue on here. We want to give a big shout out to Posha. What a great enthusiast, the stuntman, making this all possible, putting big money into the race. Lori, Bud, Chad, all the great folks from Glen Helen continuing the rich history history of this event. It goes back so many years. They told me, back in the day, it used to be the 4-stroke shootout. The White Brothers 4-stroke shootout, because back then that was the minority. That was the oddball bike. And now look at how things have switched. Now we have the 2-stroke nationals. And this is such a great event. People talk about this one from coast to coast.
Yeah, and it has that feel. It definitely has that feel. And the popularity of this event, I've got to say that it has something to do with its nostalgia, it's what's coming out. But I think a lot of the manufacturers have thought that the 2-strokes are going away. Well, 2-strokes aren't going away. And as a matter of fact, Kawasaki has announced that they got 2-strokes coming. We don't know if it's 1, if it's 2, if it's 3, motocross, off-road, what it is, but they're seeing the value in a 2-stroke. So as a magazine guy, I hope all the manufacturers bring them back, because they will sell every single one that they make.
I agree. I think they have an important place in this sport, and I think a lot of enthusiasts are very excited about it. So we will just wait patiently to see what the OEMs do. I mean, hey, we love those 4-strokes as well. There's a place for both of them. It would be great to see both of them back in Supercross, motocross, on the regular. What I love about this form of racing, even though these are 150s out there, you're talking about such a small amount of horsepower vis-a-vis a 450. Momentum is so important. Clutching is so important. Mark, tell me how your style would change out there on a 150 compared to a 450 4-stroke.
Oh, it's all about momentum. A 450 4-stroke makes you lazy. And you can kind of hit a turn and then just grab a throttle and go. These things, you'll notice, like, these guys are coming in standing up as long as they can and getting on the gas early, trying to be on the gas early in the turn so that they're getting as much momentum as they can. And I mean, you can hear it. It's wide open. These bikes are wide open. In the Open Pro class, you see a little bit more of some throttle control, but these bikes are wide open and they're a blast to ride. Like, they're so much fun to ride. You feel like you're going so fast. And I think that the manufacturers, we need to bring back 125s and 150s for racing-wise, because kids need to go from 85s or super minis to a 125 for a year, because they learn a lot. You learn stuff on a 125 that you won't learn anywhere else, and it does. It's all about momentum, and it makes you a better rider all the way around.
I think you can learn a lot about working on the bike too. Simplicity. Even a shade tree mechanic like me, I could change a 2-stroke piston, no problem. You start getting into adjusting valves and things like that, might need a little bit of help, but it is just simplicity. It is the smell, it is the sound, it is everything that makes these bikes great that we need to preserve.
Well, and speaking of simplicity, it looks like Ryan is simply just coming up on Josh a second a lap or 2 seconds a lap. He's making little gains here and there, and if anybody has racecraft on this track, it's definitely Ryan.
Definitely Ryan as well, and Josh. I mean, we talk about Lipanovic having a lot of laps. Is there anybody that has more seat time out here than MXA test rider Josh Mosman? Great to see.
You know what? These two guys that are racing against him, I would say they're all about the same, because they're all here all the time. Like, Sean's got his riding schools that he's doing, so if he's not riding on a Tuesday or Thursday, he's teaching somebody how to ride. So it's kind of cool. Like, you see these guys that are spending this time. Even Tokarski. Tokarski spends a lot of time testing here with his media outlet and with Yamaha when he worked for them. So, it's great to see, and we'll see if Ryan can pull up to that back fender of that Posha KTM 150.
Josh Mosman representing the High Torque family well. MXA Dirt Bike Magazine. What a big year for his family too. His brother is teammate with Hayden Deegan and has been doing a great job out there in Supercross. I asked him, is your brother healthy? Because I've seen him take a few spills. He said, oh yeah, part of the game. He's hanging in there.
Yeah, no, the Mosman family definitely a racing family. They're all over the place, and not only a racing family, but a fast racing family.
So Josh Mosman trying to avenge what happened last year. Now, that was a great shot right there, because early here in the morning with a fresh track, we're already seeing some deep ruts. And I know I've sat here with many, many times with you, Mark, and what do we hear after the racers win or podium? Man, it was rough. It was rough. Yeah. It was Glen Helen. It was brutal. How's this track going to change throughout the day?
Well, and like I said, it's really, right now, it's pretty unrough, or it's pretty smooth in general, and there's ruts that the ruts aren't really formed yet. Like you can see Josh going around the outside and kind of getting that harder line, but like where he comes in right here, all that rut's all kind of soft and it can push out. That's where we were seeing earlier in the Moto. Lepenovich was hitting some of those deep ruts, and it was kind of stopping just like that right there.
Oh, no.
Josh stopped his momentum, and if you look at that, like that right there, that little mistake at the bottom of the hill cost him time all the way to the top.
You think it's in the back of his mind at all that a pebble can get you? I mean, is that haunting him from last year, or is he able to just move on from that? It was a fluke. It's not going to happen this year. Or is that something he's concerned about, preserving the bike and making it last?
I don't think he's thinking about that right now, but once he gets that white flag, it might be something you start thinking about, because every little noise you hear on that last lap starts making you think about stuff. So, and that's even with two strokes. Like as reliable as they are today, back in the day, half the part of winning the race was having a bike that would last through and make it through, not only suspension wise, frame wise, engine wise, all that kind of stuff. So that was half the battle back in the day.
Mosiman moving at a brisk clip. He is your leader here at Moto #1 for the Posha 125 shootout. It is the Wiseco World Two-Stroke Championship hosted by Fasthouse here at Glen Helen. We've got a big, long day to get through, so don't even think about going anywhere. Keep it locked right here, Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel. So many talented riders here from all over the world. I can't wait to get our first look at the Open Pro category as well, where unfortunately our defending champion is injured. Justin Heft is not here. Carson Brown is here, however, and we got some newcomers trying to take a shot at Big Carson.
Oh, yeah, no, they're just in that class. It's a stacked class, too. We're going to see some of the same guys from this class going in that class as well. So, I mean, we got full gates all around. And it looks like we got the white flag out for Mosiman right here. He just kind of has a big enough lead on second and third place to where he can kind of cruise it in and just try not to make any major mistakes on this last lap, and he'll get that big win in Moto #1 and set himself up for Moto #2.
Yeah, he's got some work to do. He told me he will be washing the bike in between motos. He knows it's going to get so muddy here at Glen Helen. They're going to service it. I noticed out in Supercross, sometimes if they get away with it, they just wipe the bike down. Yeah. He said with all these electronics, we don't like spraying it. But again, a simpler era, right? Old school 125. He says it's definitely going to need a bath, especially because you're talking about the limited horsepower. That mud's going to make this bike heavier.
Exactly. Well, and it looks like Mosiman's pulled out a pretty big gap. I haven't seen Marias kind of come around, and I'm not sure that we saw Ryan. That's Lepenovich that we just saw. I'm not sure if Ryan was in front of him or if something has happened to Ryan. So this drone footage, it doesn't do this track justice. I mean, the drone footage is awesome to see, but the hill doesn't look that big. And you can't really even walk up the backside of that hill. Like, it's if you're not on a motorcycle, you definitely don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, I've told the story thanks to you. You invited me out here for one of the test days, and I slid the whole way down on my butt. I said, I got to walk this thing. I took about 2 steps down and went for a ride. And I said, oh my gosh, it's hard to walk down with tennis shoes. Imagine flying down on a 125.
Yeah, the only other places that I've been that had the elevation change, the drastic elevation change like this, I know Spring Creek has some big hills now. Been able to go there and ride there and do some testing there. But Glen Helen, I mean, it's kind of its own animal. As we saw yesterday with some of the weather, it's got its own atmosphere here. It wasn't raining 5 minutes away anywhere else, and it was raining here, and it was basically Mother Nature and the man above was looking out for us because he's watering the track for us.
Yes, indeed. As Josh Mosiman closes in on a checkered flag, we'll have to see where the rest of the field finished as well. Remember, there is some stacked talent back there. We'll see where our friend Kai Aiello and Rod Julio here from the UK and Brandon Ray here from Supercross. There are a lot of competitors out there, and what did we learn last year that we know so well in motocross? Don't think it's over after Moto #1. Anything can happen, and nobody knows that better than your leader right now, who suffered a motorcycle failure in Moto #2. As we race towards the checkered flag, your winner of Moto #1 from Motocross Action Magazine. Congratulations, Josh Mosiman.
Well, that looks like Mariah's coming over the jump right. Somebody doing a heel clicker over the jump. So it did look like Mariah came across in second and Lipinevich was in third. Again, what we're saying, all officially, unofficially.
Yeah, exactly. Competitors are continuing to finish. This field was stacked. I can't wait to see our exact entry count, but they were all coming to take a shot at this $15,000 purse put on by Posha. What an awesome man. It was great to meet him last year, and he said, you know what, instead of throwing some money into one Supercross rider, we're going to throw it into an event.
Yeah, no, and it's really cool that Posha's putting up all of this stuff just to get people on the bikes again and riding and going. Like, it's definitely a great thing to see, and I believe we're going to talk to the winner of this race. I think that we're going to talk to Josh Mosiman here in a second. So, but like you said, it's great for what Posha's doing, and this is only one of the races that he's putting up.
Let's take a look at the Fasthouse results here in just a few moments as we take a look at the iconic Glen Helen Hollywood sign. What a beautiful sign that it is. Lets you know that you're in the Mecca of speed in Southern California. I am so enamored with this place. Grew up as a fan, had the opportunity to come here for the first time about 10 years ago, and Mark, it is awesome. I love it here.
Yeah, no, I get to be here all the time at Glen Helen, and you know the World Two-Stroke Championships, bringing it to everybody. It's a great thing to do, but you know we're kind of blessed to be able to be here all the time.
Stay with us, guys. We're just getting started. The Wiseco Two-Stroke World Championship presented by Fasthouse. We'll be back right after this.
The Lectron Pro Series. It just works. With more torque, instant throttle response, and absolutely zero jets to mess with ever. Built for two strokes, made for domination.
This live stream is brought to you by Lectron Fuel Systems. Use code 2StrokeSmoke-LS at checkout for $100 off your next carburetor.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Two-Stroke World Championship here in San Bernardino, California. Guess who just stepped into the building. It is the man of the hour after a big win in Moto #1, Posha 125. It is my man, Josh Mosiman. Big congratulations. Feels like 2024 all over again when Josh was able to win that first Moto, but we know there's more work to do, Josh. One more step. Based on how things went last year, how are you feeling after this big win?
Well, that was a lot of fun. It does feel interesting to be up here. You guys have seen my face already, maybe on this broadcast as a MXA guy, as an employee, but this time I earned my way up onto this podium and onto TV, so it feels really good. First Moto was a lot of fun. As you guys can see, the track's a lot more wet than we normally have it here at Glen Helen, and it was good work. I was fifth place on the first lap, and just slowly made my way through the pack. Last year I made a couple mistakes. I won the first Moto last year by like 10 seconds, but I went off the track during it, and I had a couple bobbles. So this year I just tried to be smoother, smarter, and it was a lot of fun. But I could keep talking. I get paid to talk, so I'll keep talking. I really want to thank Posha. Posha gave me a bike to race, and he also put up the money for this class. So I haven't won any money yet. I've won the first Moto many times, but I've never won the overall. So hopefully we can get that $2,500 after the second Moto. But Ryan Moraes was riding awesome. Sean Lepanovich was riding awesome. Steven Tokarski's out here on a Yamaha 125 built by Pro Circuit, and he was keeping up with us, and he had a great start. So for Pro Circuit to build that fast of a 125 against all of us on 150s, good job to Steven Tokarski. That was really impressive. And then I really got to thank Lectron for hooking up the bike with Posha. The bike is running awesome, and I had a Rinaldi scoop tire on there. That was working awesome. And also got to say thanks to Zach Wiley, Coyote over at TRE. He got the bike dialed in for me, freshened it up for this race, and I really appreciate Zach keeping me safe and giving me an awesome bike. Posha provided it, but Zach worked on it. It was really cool. So also thanks to my trainer, Cameron Przinski. He's out here from Gainslinger, and I've been training this last year, and he's the one to thank for a little more fitness this time around. So it was fun.
Tell me a little bit about that pass for the lead, because we talked about it on the broadcast between you and Lepanovich, and we're not so sure anybody has more seat time here at Glen Helen. You guys are here day in, day out. You know this track like the back of your hands. Tell me about how you were able to make the move and why you chose that particular spot on the track.
Well, Sean's riding awesome. I'm an MXA test rider, so I'm here multiple times a week testing bikes and helping out Glen Helen with whatever I can do for them. And Sean's also here training riders, riding multiple times a week. And he's been riding that 150 a lot lately, so he's been riding really, really well, and that was really fun to battle with him. But in the back section, I carried some more momentum through the tight left-hander and then up and over where the hip jump normally is. Carried some momentum there, went around the outside, and then he tried to block me in the mini Talladega, and I had enough momentum to tuck up the inside. So Sean's a lot lighter than me, so I have to work hard to carry more momentum and be able to get around him. So it was really cool. It was a fun time, fun battle.
Well, very cool. What are you going to do to the motorcycle here between motos? I know you told me you're hoping to wash, get some of that heavy mud off.
Yeah, we're going to try to get the mud off, and otherwise, the bike's dialed. Posha has the thing dialed. So Chris Heinrich and Posha built the engine, and they did a great job. FMF pipe on there, and just really thankful for a great bike to race and a fun time out here. It's 2 strokes. We were the first moto of the day. Feels good to get that weight off my back, but one more to go. Got to keep it strong for the second one.
One more to go. So based on the way this thing went last year, are there any demons in your head, or are you able to just block that thing out?
Well, last year I passed into third, and then I got a rock stuck in my chain. And that when you're on a 125, you lean it over too far, and that countershaft sprocket gets mud and rock stuck in there. They don't have the torque that 250Fs, 450s have to blow through that rock. So I got stuck. It was pretty much a DNF. Looks like Dominic DeSimone might have the same problem. He's still out there on the track right now. So 125s, you have to be careful with leaning it over too far in the mud, but just try to be smart, smooth, and see if I can do it again.
Well, awesome, man. We wish you the best. And as we said, Josh Mosiman getting it done with a Lectron carburetor. Why don't we at this time find out a little bit more about our friends from Lectron Carburetor?
All right, so we're down here in the Posha Racing pits. We're with the man, the myth, the legend, Posha. Now, you do a lot of stuff when it comes to this 125, 150 exhibition race per se, but you put up all the money for it. I know talking to you before, you wanted just to get people on their motorcycles again and riding. Well, we're not here to talk about you and your racing. We're here to talk about Lectron Carburetors because you are a distributor for Lectron Carburetors. I know it's what goes on all of your race bikes. So tell us, what is a Lectron carburetor?
So Lectron carburetor, in easy terms, is a vacuum-assisted carburetor. It's pretty innovative. What we have here is the Silver brand Pro 38, and what I like about this carburetor is it's quick and easy adjusting. You see these 3 knobs right here. These are what adjust the carburetor. The big gold one is for idle, of course, and then the top screw is for, I call it top end, and the bottom screw, I call it bottom end, but it's for power jet adjustments. So let's say you're going on the top end and you need more gas or you need less gas. So just by turning this screw right here, no jets adjustment, just a screw, you get what you want. And then let's say you need more hit down bottom or it's a little bit too rich down bottom. I really like the clear fuel bowl so you can see if your floats are working properly, how much gas is floating around in there. Nice little fun thing right there. And these are the quick adjust finger knobs where you don't need a tool. You can order these from Lectron. And to set the needle, exit, intake, and that's it. There it is, Lectron Pro 38.
So now where do they go if they want to get it from you? They see you at the track. You probably have them at the track. Where do they go? Do you have a website they can go to?
Just Posha Racing, my Instagram. If they go to Posha Racing and leave me a message or call me or find me, I can get them a carburetor. And what I offer is, because I'm a local guy, and if you're a local guy buying it, I'll meet you at the track and I'll tune it for you, and I'll teach you how to tune it for free.
Well, there you have it. There's Posha talking about the Lectron car, but we actually have the rider that is going to ride this motorcycle right in front of us from our sister publication, Josh Mosman from Motocross Action. So, Josh, you've ridden this bike for, I think, the last 3 years now with Lectron Carb. You've dialed it and all that kind of stuff. What are you looking at to do different this year, or are you just ready to race?
I'm just ready to race. So Posha gives me an awesome bike last year and this year, and the KTM 150 is a ripper. Last year I won the first moto on this bike, and then I got a rock stuck in my chain in the second moto. It was such a heartbreaker, so I'm trying to hold it together for 2 motos this year, and I'm excited about it. The Lectron carburetor is really good for me. I love how easy it is. It's definitely a little smoother off the bottom end and just better roll-on power. So for me, it helps me ride faster, longer, not get tired as easily, and I really appreciate it. So I'm really thankful Posha's letting me ride his bike. He's putting up $15,000 to the 3 Posha racing classes. He's giving out bikes to guys like me to go race. He's got Lectron carburetors on there, and hopefully we can do well in it.
So there you have it, guys. There's a bunch of information about Lectron. We talked to Josh Mosman, who's going to be racing this motorcycle. If you want to find out a little bit more, head over to Lectron's website. Back to you guys.
Mark, you have been a busy man as we take a look at Old Glory flying high atop San Bernardino, this legendary racing facility. Happy Easter weekend, everybody. Welcome back to the Wiseco Two-Stroke Championship presented to you by Fasthouse. Amazing racing conditions, and we're just getting started, so don't think about going anywhere just yet. Jack Rapella, Mark Tilley here with you. Mark, what an exciting Moto #1 in Posha 125. Here's the big question. Can your buddy Josh Mosman avenge that loss, avenge that rock in the countershaft sprocket from last year, and do it again in Moto 2?
Yeah, he made Moto 1 look really easy, kind of getting out there and then making some key passes. But the other thing that we're going to see is, can Steven Tokarski come back? He was running up front on that pro circuit built YZ 125, went down in one of the turns and kind of had to funnel himself back, but then Lepinovich is definitely a wild card in there as well. He said that he got out a little bit early and maybe got some arm pump and had to back it down a little bit. So lots of what ifs coming for the second moto, and that track is going to be a lot rougher in the second moto. So it's definitely huge crowd here. I mean, people here watching, huge crowd. I mean, when we pulled back and we came in, you got to see just how many people are here. If you could smell this air, you would see why everybody has a smile on their face.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. I just had an opportunity to talk to our lovely flag lady down there, too, with the pink hair. She's having a blast. Everybody here at Glen Helen in such a good mood. I know this is an event that they look forward to each and every year. It is so special. There's nothing quite like it. I want to know in the comments, for all you watching on YouTube, do you love two-strokes as much as we do? Look, unfortunately, the wind claimed a victory on one of our banners out there, but that's okay. And really, one of the big sponsors I want to thank is Lectron Fuel Systems. These guys are awesome. They have stepped up big time. Check this out. Everybody watching, this is very, very important. If you want to save some big money today, you need to use code two-stroke-smoke-ls at checkout, and you will get this, $100 off your next carburetor. That is a beautiful billet carburetor, no jetting required, and hey, all these individuals out here in the Posha 125, 150 category couldn't be wrong. They're all running.
Well, and like we were saying in that feature that we talked to Posha about, really easy to adjust, really easy to kind of get dialed in. And if you're in California and you buy it from Posha, he'll come out here and help you dial it in. So, you know, about the only thing, they're giving you a discount. They'll dial it in for free, and all you got to do is provide a little bit of money and the motorcycle to do it with. That sounds like a win-win for everybody.
Well, we thank all of our great sponsors out there, and I'm so happy Lectron is on board. Big shout-out to our man Trevor Hawking, working with them this year, getting them on board. I've worked with this company so long. Big name in drag racing. They had Lectron carburetors out for drag bikes like back in the 70s. So to see them come on strong in the off-road market and now the motocross market is something really special. And look at the attention to detail here at Glen Helen. It's like a pro national. There are fixing the sign. I think they heard you talk about that sign, Mark Tilley. They said if Mark Tilley's talking about our sign out of place, we're going to go fix it. So.
Well, and they just rebuilt that. All that is all metal now. So they're putting a bunch of work into this. Moto Fest is coming, and then later on this year with the Vet Nationals and stuff like that. But that's all a steel structure now. So Glen Helen putting the money back into the facility for sure.
All right, let's take a look at our Wiseco starting grid as we get ready for Moto number 2 and Posha 125. A little bit of track watering going on right now, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of tough racers out there who weren't in the spotlight for the first Moto that may be in the spotlight for Moto number 2.
I believe what we're looking at right now for the starting grid is the Open Pro starting grid. Or at least that's what it says on the top. So we'll get that figured out and see exactly where we're at and kind of go from there. But I believe we are going to go live here. The next motor that we're going to see will be the Open Pro Premier 2-stroke class. So, and that's with all the heavy hitters. So.
As we get them set up, guys.
I could be wrong.
That's all right.
Like we said, okay. Officially unofficial.
It's officially unofficial. That is okay. Hey, this just shows to all you people, too, we are 100% LIVE live. Ross Fitz Productions, the entire team here has done a great job. What we are doing is we're taking an event that's spread out amongst 8 hours. We're live for the majority of it. We were showing you what happened earlier, but right now we are 100% live. So you're seeing it as we see it. And Mark, to bring these fans right into our off-camera discussions, there are so many riders here. This is a tough event to execute for the track. There's so many classes out here. It's not just the ones that we're showing you live on YouTube.
Yeah, we're showing you 2 classes out of, 30, 40 classes that are doing this. So if you're looking at this and you're going, I don't want to come to this event because it has nothing to do with what I would be racing, there's a class for you. You come on down and we will make sure, Lori and the crew down here will make sure that there's a class that you can ride. But like you said, for the starting grid, for the Posha 125 Pro Moto number 2, we have a stack field.
Yes, we do. And what I was saying earlier about some individuals that didn't have the spotlight in Moto 1, take a look at that field because Brandon Ray is somebody that Josh Mosiman told me personally, keep an eye on this guy. Rod Holio from the UK, keep an eye on this guy. Kai Aiello, how could you not? Kai, who is one of the standout racers in off-road in the NGPC series, and also, by the way, has made every Supercross night show to every race that he's entered this year. So he's somebody that could step up here in our second moto of Posha 125. It's going to be awesome. Guys, big thanks goes out to all of our great sponsors making it happen. We hit Wiseco, we hit Fasthouse, Lectron. We're going to continue to hit them all throughout this broadcast. Shoei Premium Helmets, thank you so much. Glen Helen Raceway, Dirt Bike Magazine, Motocross Action Magazine, High Torque Media Group. Thanks a lot. Our personal track sponsors here, Yamaha, Pro Circuit, Toyota. Speaking of Pro Circuit, I got to believe the great Mitch Payton is watching this not too far away. I'm sure he's got Supercross up on one screen. He's got the two strokes up on another screen. Could you think of a better Saturday?
No, I mean, it's an amazing, look at all those people here. The vendor row is packed. Like, if you need anything for a two-stroke, there is a vendor on that vendor row that will have what you need. I mean, we couldn't even park the Dirt Bike Magazine motorhome in there because they had too many vendors here for us to get it in there. So it's great. I mean, it's packed out. The last time I've seen it this busy at Glen Helen was when they had nationals and stuff like that here. So, great. There's kids riding on the back track. There's stuff for the whole family here. If you want to race motorcycles and you want to race a two-stroke, you need to be here next year if you're not here already. Track conditions, weather, absolutely amazing here at Glen Helen, and we're ready to go racing.
It is a very special mecca of speed, and we're so happy that Bud Feldkamp and Lori and Chad Tucker and everybody here at this fine facility have invited us in to provide live coverage. Another thing we were talking about off camera moments ago is just how hard motocross is to cover, and if you look at how far we've come in the last 5-10 years, 15 years ago, the only way you could get results, you had to read about it in the magazine. Now we're bringing you coverage 100% live, so I hope you guys are loving it out there. I know Mark Tilley's doing an awesome job in the booth, pulling the weight for me. I appreciate it. That's
yeah,
all.
Right. Well, yeah, you're right. I remember waiting for Cycle News to come out on Tuesday evenings. If you got it early, you were happy. If not, you had to wait till Wednesday or Thursday to get the information on what's going on, and it's great. We're nitpicking what we're doing, and with social media, we have people coming in with comments. Some of them good comments, and some of them we actually put to use. Some of them are comments that we just kind of go, okay, guys. So, but like I said, first moto top 3 in the Posha 125 Pro class was Josh Mosman, Ryan Marias, and Sean Lepinovich. Steven Tokarski was right off the podium in 4th, with Kai Aiello in 5th, and Tristan Alvarez in 6th. So coming into this second moto, these guys are definitely going to go for it because they're going to leave everything out there. Everybody wants the money, and it's going to be fun to watch.
That second moto is the important one. And I was not trying to be a wise guy with Josh Mosman. I was not trying to give him the announcer's curse, but I had to bring it up. What happened last year? Is that on your mind? Because this is an exact repeat of 2024. Walks through the first moto, gets ready, feeling good for Moto 2, and then the dreaded bike failure, which can happen. It can happen to anybody at any given time. It takes 2 motos to win out here for an outdoor.
Exactly. Well, and just looking at the starting grid right here, 2 of those guys on the far left-hand side is Ryan and Steven. Even Lepinovich as well. They were just on the track again for a different moto that they're racing because they're racing multiple motos, and then they're going to turn right back around and go back out there for the big money moto in the 125cc Posha Pro class. But right there, number 64 is Robbie Wageman, test rider Robbie Wageman. The Solitaire team has a really cool couple motorcycles for him, kind of throwing it back to the Jerry McGrath two-stroke YZ250 era. But lots of... So then we see a brand new YZ125 with Wageman, and then you go a couple doors down, and there was that number 212, and that looked like to be about a mid-90s CR125. So great racing that we're going to see in the second moto, and a lot of a variety of motorcycles out there.
That is such a cool throwback to Jeremy McGrath. Absolutely love the livery, as looks like we've got the 30-second card up. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Another big moto coming your way. Who will get the all-important hole shot? Here from Glen Helen, it is the Wiseco Two-Stroke Championship presented by Fasthouse. Let's get this young lady off the race course. Here comes a full gate headed your way into Talladega turn. It's hole shot time, baby. It's Mosman. Who will be Lepinovich up in there as well? Who's got the hole shot coming out of Talladega? Whoa, dancing around. We've got a crash in Talladega turn that we're hearing. The backstretch, we'll see what race control decides to do on this one. They're tending to that situation, and we'll try to figure out who's got the hole shot.
That's Marias and Tokarski. So Marias, Tokarski, and then Mosman out front. So kind of a replay of the first moto. I didn't see Lepinovich up there, but
hopefully Lepinovich not stuck in that crash that we saw back your screen.
He's in fourth or fifth. So it looks like Mariah's. It's really hard when Ryan's out front. He's got really good racecraft when it comes to staying out front. So it's definitely going to be tough for the rest of the field. But Mosiman, it looks like he's up to the task and has been in third place, going to move forward. But Steven and Ryan going at it right now. So there's your crash in the first turn. Doesn't look like any of the front runners from Moto 1 that were there. And that was about mid-pack when we saw that crash happen.
What a crazy start it is. It's about a football field into 45-degree banking. There is no start in motocross quite like Talladega Turn. But as for now, Ryan Morris trying to get his groove back. Remember, he won this thing in 2023. Felt like he had a real shot last year. Got stuck with some bad luck. We'll see if he can get back atop the podium here in Moto number 2. Where is Mosiman, by the way?
Mosiman's in third right now, right behind Tokarski.
Okay, so this is where, remember, in motocross, Moto number 2 is more heavily weighted.
And I think that's Brandon Way, we'll see exactly when they come across the start-finish line here. We'll see exactly who's where.
The sweet smell of premix fills the air. One lap done on this torturous, punishing, arduous Glen Helen racetrack. As we continue to send them through the chute, we'll get our first look at our unofficial results as Ryan Morris leads them around. Steven doing a great job out there on the Yamaha. Josh Mosiman coming in third so far. So Mosiman's got work to do.
Brent Ray in fourth, Lepinovich in fifth. Sage Powers in sixth. Kai
Aiello
running up there in seventh. Followed by J.P. Alvarez in eighth. Hayden Robinson in ninth. And rounding out the top 10 is Patrick Evans. The Fasthouse rider. It looks like Tokarski trying to go around the outside. Oh! Ryan shut the door on him.
Morris shut the door. Now, help me out, Mark. It definitely seems like we got a two-line racetrack here. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot rougher than the first moto, what we saw in the first moto. So it is going to take line selection on these. I know when they're coming down the hill, you can kind of see at the very back or the very end, there's kind of one kicker at the end that kind of pushes them up. But they're going to definitely tighten up right here because here comes the youngest of the three right here is Josh Mosiman, and he's on that Posha back KTM 150. You saw him gain a little bit on Tokarski going up the hill. Oh, and he goes around the outside and makes that pass. So he's got one more guy to get by. It's not going to be easy, but he's got one more guy to get by to get that win that he wants.
Well, let's talk about the time that he's got to make this thing last, too. These motorcycles can fail. As we saw, it was one rock in his countershaft sprocket. I went back and watched that race yesterday, which, by the way, all you guys can do here on the Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel. That is what's great about these races being archived. You can watch them at any time. But it looked like, I thought that he seized an engine the way that motorcycle shut off. I asked him today. I went and spoke to Josh Mosiman's lovely wife who's selling pastries out there, and she knew right away. Oh, no, it was a rock. Right on that corner is where it got him. Big boulder right into the countershaft sprocket was enough to push him back to, I think, 10th place.
Well, and we got an interesting dynamic that's coming through right now is that the guy out front is on a brand new 150. Ryan does a lot of testing and R&D for KTM. So he's on a I believe, a fuel-injected bike, and Mosiman is on a few-year-old 150 that's got some tunage done to it, and then it has that Lectron carburetor that we've been talking about. So two kind of different technology working, and we'll kind of see what one comes out. And then, if I believe right, Brandon Ray is on another Posha bike, I believe, that also has a Lectron. It's a carbureted version of that. So both of these guys, and Brandon Ray's been putting down some laps. He's I think he's the fastest guy on the track right now, or pretty close. Him and Mosiman running about the same lap times. and on pretty close to the same technology of motorcycles.
KTMs invade the top 3 here. Now, something I would like to do right now, if it's okay with you, Mark, because I did it last year, I'd like to just lay out for a couple seconds and let everybody enjoy the sweet sound of Posha 125s, which are really Posha 150s, mostly with Lectron carburetors. Let's listen to them. It just never gets old. I love it. Can you believe there's actually, when we were kids, people that didn't like that sound that would call the police? Call the police on us? How could you not love that buzz? It's beautiful. Are you with me in the comments? Let me know.
Yeah, that's definitely, I could think of a lot worse sounds to be hearing. And to be honest with you, 4-strokes. Sometimes they're not the most appealing sound to be hearing, especially first thing in the morning. But you know, we're here at the World 2-Stroke Championship, and we're all smiling. That's for sure.
Well, I heard Mark Tilley's favorite sound is an electric dirt bike. Is that true? That's an acquired taste. It is. Yeah. You know, got to have that thing out there, and I'm like, wow, what do I keep hearing? And you hear a lot of chain chatter that you don't normally hear because these bikes are so loud, 2-strokes and 4-strokes, that you don't get to hear something they're working.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the technology. I'm not a fan of the motorcycles in general. I think they all have their place, but I don't think that it's ever going to replace anything. I think that it's going to add to it, and there's more stuff that we can do. But does anything beat that sound?
That is the best. I just want that as my ringtone, my alarm clock, and all of the above. 2-strokes sound great. Fans loving every single Mendov as well. Josh Mosman trying to get out in front. His brother, Michael Mosman, teammates with Hayden Deegan, Star Racing Yamaha. No doubt watching him from afar right now, cheering him on this live broadcast on the Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel. Little look back.
Ryan giving a look back, seeing who's there. But, I mean, the cooler part about 2-strokes, and especially 125s or 150s, is how close the racing is. It seems like on 4-strokes, the guys will get out and they'll kind of spread out a little bit more. But this is, you make a small mistake on a 2-stroke and stuff comes up on you. And it looks like Brandon Ray gonna maybe try to derail the Mosman train to the front. So it keeps them close, and it's definitely fun racing to watch, that's for sure.
I know, I'd love to know exactly how deep we are into this Moto 2. Remember, 20 minutes plus 1. Gotta believe we're creeping up on that halfway mark.
This is the battle for the overall win right now.
Oh, here comes Mosman to the outside. Can he make it stick now to the inside? Mosman, wow, inside, outside. Now, like we said, guys, if there's anybody who knows where to pass on this racetrack, it's Josh Mosman into the lead. Your motocross action test rider takes command of this race, in position to go 1-1 on the day. If he can make it stick, will Josh Mosman put a miserable, unforgiving 2024 behind him? We will soon find out.
Well, and that gave him the overall, if they finish where they're running right now. I don't think that Ryan's going to give up.
Ryan is not giving up. Ryan right back.
But you know that he knows this is for the overall. And this is, Ryan got second in the first moto, Josh got first. And if Ryan can find a way back around Josh, he will get the overall win. So lots on the line right here. And 3 KTMs just running away from the rest of the field, 2 of them being Posha bikes.
Every ounce of horsepower in these 150 Posha KTMs is what's being applied to this unforgiving Glen Helen racetrack right now. Josh Mosman trying to win this thing after a Bafo performance in Moto number 1. He's got a slight gap on Ryan Morris. Can he make it stick? Great racing today here at Glen Helen. It is the 2-stroke World Championship presented to you by Wiseco and Fasthouse. And my goodness, Mark, look at the 1, 2, 3 flurry. Not much separates these top riders.
No, and Brandon Ray is kind of the spoiler in this whole thing, because I don't think he finished anywhere in the top 5 in Moto 1. Looking at the scoring sheets, I don't think he did. So he's kind of just going for pride right now. He can come up in the overall finish, but he's got no shot at the championship or the overall number 1.
Well, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but when I said keep an eye on him, that's what I meant. My magic 8-ball, though, is Josh Mosman. I'll give full credit to him. I talked to him pre-race. He gave me a list of 4 or 5 riders that he thought was really fast, and Brandon Ray being one of them. So you just got to wonder. I mean, this is one of those situations, too. You and I have been calling a lot of 90-minute marathon off-road races here in motocross. Any mistake is hard to make up from. You got to get a good start. You've only got 20 minutes. And for Brandon Ray out here, you just wonder.
He got around him.
Got around him.
So now Brandon Ray, will he put his sights on his Posha teammate of Mosman? He's been running faster lap times, or pretty close to the same lap times as what the leader was doing. But it looks like right now we got Posha Bikes 1-2.
Posha Bikes 1-2. Mosman knew Ray was going to be fast, and now he's got Ray on his bumper. Ray seemingly finding another groove. Maybe didn't have the moto that he had hoped for earlier. He's putting one together now, but does he have enough time to catch Mosman, who continues to pull away?
Yeah, it's got to be coming down to, we're going to see a 2-lap sign here pretty quick. But again, all these guys have checked out. Like they've checked out. I believe Tokarski is running in 4th, and these guys have definitely checked out from the rest of the field. So right now we have Josh Mosman, Ryan Morais, Brandon Ray is now in 2nd. Ryan's in 3rd, Steven Tokarski in 4th, and Kaya Ello rounding out the top 5.
What a tremendous battle. Let's keep an eye on the flagger. That's not the white flag. That's a great racing, boys. I told you, she's enthusiastic. She loves it. But that white flag could be coming out soon. We'll keep an eye on it as this battle shapes up. We know Mosman's conditioning is top-notch. We know Ray is right up there with him.
Well, and Ray has definitely made up some bike lengths to bring it up. See, that's Kai, who is in 5th, just coming over the finish line. So those guys have made definitely made a big gap between the top 5. But the 2 leaders were all over each other the last time we saw them, and it's going to make it for a great. It might be 3 laps in, 3 laps from the finish now. But we can see. I mean, these guys all over each other on very similar equipped motorcycles, I believe.
Yes, indeed, as we are closing in on 2 laps to go. Josh Mosman trying to hold off Brandon Ray. According to our live timing and scoring, Kaya actually up to 4th. So keep an eye on that Supercross NGPC standout. He's on the move. On the Husqvarna, 3 KTMs lead the way. JP Alvarez and Tristan Alvarez rounding out your top 6 as we hit the final stages of this Posha 125 Moto number 2. It is the Wiseco 2-stroke championship presented by Fasthouse. Great aerial coverage. Thank you so much to Lectron, Shui, Glen Helen Raceway, Dirt Bike Magazine, Motocross Action Magazine, everybody from High Torque Media Group. You guys are awesome. Thanks for bringing this action on our devices, in our living rooms here today.
Yeah, and it looks like we, with Kai making that move into the top 4, it looks like we've lost Steven Tokarski. I'm not sure if something happened to the bike. Don't see him looking out. Hopefully he didn't go down. But possibly maybe something happened to his motorcycle and him having to pull off, or hopefully that's what it is, and not him going down and hitting the ground. But Mosman pulled back out a little bit on Brandon Ray, and it looks like he's cruising, going to cruise into that victory. So we'll see if the 2-lap board comes out this lap, and see if he can make that sprint towards the end.
Oh, wait, as Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. Don't give Josh Mosiman the announcer jinx. He's still got 2 long laps around unforgiving and tortuous Glen Helen. There it is. There is the 2 signal from the lovely lady with the pink hair. Do you think she dyed it pink just for this race?
Maybe. You never know. It looks like Brandon Ray is faster on the last section of the track and then coming across here. And then after the hills, it looks like Mosiman might have a little bit of maybe has some better lines in the back. But,
look at this, Mr. Mark. I hope you didn't give him the Dirt Bike Magazine jinx, because all of a sudden Brandon Ray has found another gear and has pulled up on the rear fender of Josh Mosiman. We've still got over a lap and a half to go. Mosiman getting a little loose, looking for the proper groove. Now, if you're Ray, he's going outside. That's exactly what I was going to ask about. Is Ray going to try some new lines here? Is it time to not follow?
This is it. And he's definitely, like I said, he's got some faster lines on this section of the track. Mosiman seems to have some faster lines after they go up the hill and come back down. So he pulls out a little bit. So if he can stay close to him on this side of the track, he's faster than him on the other side of the track. So,
Mosiman
around the outside.
Mosiman having problems on the downslope. We are nose to tail, bar to bar up the hill. Mosiman's bike does seem to be pulling away up the hills. You're 100% correct. That big Posha 150 with Lectron carburetor in use, sucking up every ounce of premix possible, making a lot of power today. Ray having trouble catching them, but one bobble by Mosiman, and that KTM is right there behind him.
Yeah, now Ray's closer to him now than he has been in the previous laps going into the back. So all of this section right here, if Ray can stay close to him, he's faster than him in the front part of the track where they come around by the announcing tower and all of those areas. So we'll see if he can put it down. Maybe a last lap pass, taking that win away from Josh. I mean, it's gonna take some moving. There's gonna be. I don't think that Josh is just gonna let him go by.
No doubt about that, guys. We are shaping up for what will be an epic last lap battle. Ray has been studying. He's been stalking. Wait, Ray may make his move before we get to the white flag lap. You can't get much closer than that, knobby to knobby. Ray trying to pull up alongside Josh Mosiman, but right now, Mosiman running a very intelligent race, hogging the good lines, not giving Ray much to work with, and here comes the white flag, ladies and gentlemen. We've got one to go here. Moto number 2 of the Posha 125 shootout. 2 KTMs ready to go to war for one more lap around San Bernardino's Glen Helen Raceway. And here comes Ray to the outside. Mosiman has got that inside line on lock. It seems like every time Ray goes outside, there just isn't enough horsepower for that one.
To the inside!
Ray to the inside! Got loose, but he closed it. That's closer than they were last lap.
Mosiman had to look back.
Here comes Ray. He got him. Makes the pass. Ray to the front. Mosiman just relinquished the lead. Does he have anything left?
Well, and does Mosiman know that on the sheets that we have, did somebody tell Josh that he doesn't have to beat Brandon Ray?
That's a good question. I don't know, but as competitive as Josh Mosiman is, you know he wants to win this race. But look at the gap that Ray has opened up. We talked about how Mosiman seemed to be a little quicker up the hills, but right now Ray has pulled out. Ray has pulled out. What a tremendous last lap pass. And Mark, this is exactly what I was trying to say earlier, that you almost wish for Ray he would have had a practice moto. He has come alive here in Moto number 2. You know, as a rider, sometimes it takes one to get going. Sometimes it takes one to get familiar with the racetrack. But the crew here at Glen Helen just doing a fantastic job as always. What great racing we're witnessing as Ray appears to be on his way to a victory here in Moto number 2.
Man, he went around Mosiman and he just put some distance between them. That's pretty impressive. After riding that pace for 20 minutes plus a lap, but now, I mean, he has just dropped Mosiman.
Unbelievable. Could be, to your point, Mosiman, a very intelligent rider. He might have backed off and realized, hey, I want to preserve the overall. We'll hear from him in a bit. as right now it is Ray, Mosman, Ryan Morris, and Kai Aiello, JP Alvarez all fighting for the top 5 on these Posha 150s here in beautiful Glen Helen Raceway. What an awesome track. Big shout out to Chad Tucker, his whole crew. They have done a fantastic job as always. Every time we come to Glen Helen, it's just a little bit different.
Well, I'm here 2-3 times a week, so if they're making it different every time we came here, it would be a little crazy. But
yeah, maybe not every time you come here.
Yeah, every time everybody else comes here.
And ladies and gentlemen, the checkered flag is about to wave. Say hello to your winner, Moto number 2, Brandon Ray takes the win on a KTM. Is he pumped or what? Remember, right now, officially unofficial, but if Josh Mosman can cross in second, which he did, we do believe Josh Mosman of Motocross Action Magazine will be your overall winner today in Posha 125. Coming across third, is it Ryan Morris? It is your 2023 champion. Let's see how far back Mr. Supercross Kai Aiello is. And here comes Kai. I got to tell you, is that Kai right there? That is Kai. Mark, question for you. Does this mean, could Josh Mosman go to Supercross? Could Brandon, he's running with Brandon Ray and Kai Aiello.
I think there's a lack of want to go to Supercross. He might not want to go to Supercross. Does he have the talent to do it? Heck yeah, he has the talent to do it. But, with Brandon coming in and winning that second moto, it shows on our scoring sheet that he had a DNF in moto number 1. So he's kind of out of the overall if that is true. But Kai, our buddy Kai, might be on the podium.
We'll be right back to sort it all out, guys. Stay with us. The Wiseco 2-Stroke Championship hosted by Fasthouse will return in just a few minutes.
You can't win races fighting your carb. You need power, control, and zero guesswork. For my 2-strokes, I choose the Lectron Pro Series. It just works. With more torque, instant throttle response, and absolutely zero jets to mess with ever. Built for 2-strokes, made for domination.
This live stream is being brought to you by Wiseco Performance Products, the official piston of the World 2-Stroke Championship.
Wow, I'll tell you guys, we still got goosebumps. Everybody's still buzzing. The live audience watching on the Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel, loving it. Welcome back, everybody. Again, my name is Jack Corpella. You can check me out on Racing Jack YouTube. Right now, we're on Dirt Bike YouTube with the great Mark Tilley, and what an incredible second moto. I'm checking out some of the comments. Yeah, we sure were flat tracking out there. That was a great performance. So we're sorting things out here in the tower. We are hearing Brandon Ray, your winner in Moto 2. That clears, but your overall winner is none other than Motocross Action's Josh Mosman. And a great performance, too, by our 2023 winner. Coming home with a third overall today out of Team KTM. Oh, wait, he's saying deuces. It looks like we might have a dispute. Oh, well, you know what? We're going to try to figure this out. Yep. Is it second? Okay, it is second. We told you this is live, and you're going to see it as we see it. So congratulations. The first thing I got to clear up for everybody out there calling you Ryan Marias, especially Mr. Mark Tilley. Is it Morris or Marias?
It's Morris.
Oh, there we are. Finally, every once in a while, blind squirrel trips over a nut. I got that one right. Congratulations. We thought you were third at first, but you got the second. Great performance out there. Take me through it if you can.
Yeah, actually, I got the whole shot for once and sprinted as long as I could to try to get away. But I couldn't hold the pace with my plus 30 Posha Moto being the one right before that. So I did that Moto 20 minutes straight back to the line and again, and that one hurt.
Could you just put that hand up again and show everybody? Guys, this is what I want. I don't know if you could see him trembling and shaking, but this is what I drive home. This is one of the most physically demanding sports in the world, and you're doing it with guys that train on the regular. Josh Mosiman, Brandon Ray. What's your training program been like? I mean, I hear you laughing, but you're in great shape, man.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I stay in decent shape. My training program is more or less just training my son for football. So that's really the only time I work out is with me and him doing stuff at home. And then obviously I do get to ride a decent amount with my R&D position, but it's definitely not motos or that pace. So it's always a little bit of a shock to the system, but as dumb as it sounds, I enjoy coming out and suffering.
Well, we loved watching you put on a great show. Now, just so I get this straight, your bike has fuel injection, correct?
Yeah, so I'm on a 2025 KTM 150.
Did you feel like your bike it had different characteristics than some of these other old school Posha 125, 150s with Lectron carbs?
I would say I think less horsepower than the Posha's. His bike's are pretty fast. Mine's pretty much stock. Just an FMF pipe silencer, pump fuel, and then a little bit of valving change in the suspension for me. That's it. So,
well, great job, man. And we look forward. I know you want to get back atop this box. You were this close today. Second's pretty good. Maybe 2026. We'll see. Ryan Morris.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'll be back for sure, and hopefully I can at least get one moto between them.
Congratulations, man. Thanks a lot. We'll let him get out of here, and we will bring in, I don't know if we're going to bring in number 3 or our overall winner, but we're hearing number 2. Let's bring it. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Swerve Curveball. I thought we were going to talk to Brandon Ray, but look who this is. Gentlemen, sir, would you like to please put on the headphones? For those of you who don't know this handsome man, this is the one and only Kai Aiello. Kai, we talked about you a lot out there, and this is the thing with outdoor motocross. It is not just moto to moto. It's the two combined scores. You were very consistent, coming home with a third today. Congratulations. You've done such a great job this year, qualified for every Supercross. Now you're on the box here in the 125 category. How was it different on the old small bore two-stroke?
Well, it's been a minute since I've ridden a 125, so I just came out to have fun, honestly. This came together 2 or 3 days ago, and the boys at MX Locker hooked me up with a 125, and I was pretty pumped, honestly. All these guys are on 150s, so I knew I was going to be a little undergunned, but I was able to keep it consistent today, and I enjoyed myself so much. I grew up racing 125s and stuff like that, so it's good to be back here, and I made it happen with the third, so I'm stoked.
Well, you've done a lot this year, and I don't have the official breakdown of scoring in front of me, but I know you made a big move up through mid-pack to make a lot of those passes. Take me through some of the passes you were able to make there late in the race.
Yeah, I didn't get a good start, and then I kind of I lacked some intensity early on and then found my flow. And then, honestly, I kind of had pretty good awareness. I passed Sean. I don't know what happened to him. And then I passed Steve. And from that point, I kind of managed it. Like I said, I don't have much time on this bike, so I wasn't super comfortable. Third place, I kind of knew I had that overall, so I just enjoyed myself. And, hopefully come back next year a little bit more prepared, maybe get a 150 and see if we can battle these boys a little harder.
Very cool. Is your mom out here with you today?
She's in where, the East Rutherford? She's at Supercross.
Well, yeah, shout out to Mom. Some of you are probably like, why are you asking about his mom? His mom's awesome. It's normally his mechanic. She's at Supercross. So, Kai, congratulations. Third place today. And that clears the road to talk to our big winner. Thanks a lot, Kai. We appreciate you stopping by. And for everybody watching live out there, this sets the stage for what will be an incredible Open Pro Moto 1 and Moto 2 coming up. But ladies and gentlemen, how sweet it is. Redemption tastes good. This man was dejected and devastated last year when he won Moto number 1 and a Glen Helen rock. We're going to have to talk to Chad Tucker about these pesky Glen Helen rocks that get stuck in the counter shaft sprocket. That was 2024, but in 2025, your winner overall, ladies and gentlemen, from Motocross Action Magazine, the man, the myth, the legend, Josh Mosiman, getting it done. Congratulations, man. I know you've wanted this for so long. How's it feel?
Woo, feels good. I've been working for Motocross Action Magazine since 2018, and this is every year since then. The two-stroke national has been my Anaheim one. Do you want me to be real with you, authentic, or do you want me to just give you the post-race speech?
I want you to be authentic, and honestly, full disclosure, I think everybody watching at home is probably like, why do you keep talking about his bad luck? Why do you keep giving him the jinx? I know you personally enough to know that was on your mind. You had to avenge that. You had to get past that. So, yes, now that it's over and you won, let's talk about it. What was going through your mind?
Well, if you want me to be real, I'm going to be really honest with you, okay? And this is my Anaheim one. This is my favorite race of the year. This is my most important race of the year. If there's one race I want to win, it's this one. And I've won the first moto so many times. I've went 2-2 a couple times. Last year, won the first moto, got that rock stuck in me and my chain. And so this is my Anaheim one. I'm going to tell you right now, the last few months I've been thinking about this race. The last few weeks, it's been getting crazy. And then just I get shots of adrenaline when I think about this race. I think about doing the Posha 150 Open class. And so it was building up so much in my head. Honestly, it worked out really good that this is Easter weekend. Easter, we're celebrating Jesus' death on the cross, paying for our sins. And tomorrow, Resurrection Sunday, he rose again, conquered death, and he gives us hope for eternal life, but he also gives us a reason to live, and that really helps me put this race in perspective. I get it so built up in my head. It's such a priority for me that I idolize this race, and I really have to take a chill pill, remember that this race isn't everything. It's just one race out of the year, and that really helped me calm down. I wasn't going off the track this time. I wasn't crashing this time, and I didn't make any big mistakes, and I was able to ride much more mellow, and it turns out winning is awesome, but Resurrection Sunday is even better. So thankful for eternal life, thankful for Jesus, my Lord and Savior, and thankful for this opportunity to speak up here. You know, I work for a living. I get paid to talk on video, but this time I earned it, and it feels so good. So thank you, Jack, for having us. Thank you to the live stream crew for putting on an awesome show, and my parents get to watch from home. My trainer, Cameron Brzezinski, kicked butt. He's been this last year I've been actually training. I've been actually focusing on being in better fitness rather than just riding and racing and testing. I've been putting more effort into actually training. So thankful for Cameron, thankful for Zach Wiley putting the Posha bike together for me, and just very thankful for this opportunity. And that moto, I was leading for a long time, and then on the last lap I saw that it was Brandon Ray behind me, and I knew he finished a lot further back in the first moto. So once I saw it was him, he was definitely going faster than me. I was getting tired. I said, "You take it, you got it." Once he passed me, I was like, okay, I'm just going to ride it in and take the $2,500.
Well, amen, my friend. Very deserving. We know how hard you work. You come from a great racing family. It's so fun to watch. You know what this reminds me of? In 1997, there was a man named Dale Earnhardt who could never win Daytona, and he finally got it done. I think just like that, we got to all line up. Everybody needs to slap you on the back and congratulate you because, man, amazing performance, and I hope you get to enjoy this tonight. I know your lovely wife's out there selling pastries. She was totally stoked.
Yep.
I'm sure your brother is watching somewhere.
Hopefully my brother's watching. I know my parents are watching, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I just want to make them proud, make my wife proud. She's kicking butt selling organic sourdough bread, fresh baked last night. We were loading bread until 10 p.m. last night. 10 o'clock, I told her I need to go to bed. I got a race tomorrow. So she's working hard selling bread, all healthy sourdough bread, but then also scones, cookies, coffee cake, everything. She's having fun. So she's selling bread, I'm racing, and thanks to Posha, we made some bread today as well.
Congratulations, my friend. Well said. Getting it done here on Easter weekend. Please congratulate him in the comments. I did hear a rumor that Mark Tilley's coming in with a 6-figure contract to try to steal you away from MXA to make you a dirt bike test rider. We'll talk more about that when we come back, guys. Stay with us. The two-stroke World Championship. We'll be right back.
It's smell the air. We're ready to go.
This live stream is brought to you by Glen Helen Raceway. Feel the speed.
Welcome back to this legendary, historic, and unyielding racetrack we know as Glen Helen in the mountains of San Bernardino, California. It is a beautiful day for racing. I am just tingling. We've all got goosebumps from the tremendous action that we saw in Posha 125. We've got two big motos coming up in the Open Pro category. Jack Rapella, Mark Tilley with you. What just great racing we're witnessing here.
Yeah, you can't ask for anything better than that. Great track conditions, great weather, great racing. The smell of pre-stroke, two-stroke oil in the air, race gas. We got it all. If you're not at Glen Helen, you're in the wrong place because this place is hopping right now.
No doubt about it. I think it's so commendable. Bud Feldkamp, Lori, everybody here, everything that they do, they run over 300 events a year, and I've gone on my soapbox before and I say, support your local track in everything they do. Well, guess what? There's another brand new big event coming up at Glen Helen called MotoFest. Let's find out a little bit more about MotoFest from the one and only Josh Mosman.
This weekend is the Two-Stroke National, but coming up soon, the next big event has $100,000 up for grabs. It's the MotoFest right here at Glen Helen, May 15th, 17th, and 18th. May 15th was known last year as the Stopwatch National. That's a run what you brung race. Pro riders are invited, 250s, 450s, and even Stark Varg electric bikes. Two 30-minute motos with big money up for grabs, $30,000 split between the top 20 riders. Big money to earn at that race. And it's kind of a run what you brung race because you can bring your own medal starting grate there to get ready for the Paula National, which is coming up the weekend after that. Also big money on the line for Saturday. Two classes, 250 class, 450 class, pro riders only, and you can win $35,000 split between the two classes. So $35,000 for the 250 class, $35,000 for the 450 class, adding up to a grand prize of $100,000 split between the MotoFest weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're not a pro, you can come out and race as well. Amateurs will be racing here on Saturday and on Sunday with Grand Prix off-road racing. So it's going to be a lot of fun here from Glen Helen. It's no longer a privateer-only event. Originally, we talked about just doing privateers. Now everybody's invited. Factory riders are welcome to come earn their lion's share of the money. It's going to be a lot of fun here at Glen Helen Raceway. Also, if you're racing the Two-Stroke National, you can save $10 on your entry fees for the MotoFest. So pro classes, no entry fees. Come race. Get signed up now at glenhelen.com. But if you're an amateur, save $10 by racing the two-stroke race and racing the MotoFest Saturday and Sunday. So come check us out. It's the weekend after Supercross, the weekend before the Fox Raceway National, May 15th, 17th, and 18th. It's going to be a lot of fun. Learn more at glenhelen.com.
As if there weren't enough cool events here at Glen Helen, another one to look forward to. That's going to be awesome. MotoFest. Can't wait.
Yeah, Bud and the crew putting up a bunch of money for the privateers and factory riders alike. You're on the Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel. That event will probably be hosted by us, but it will be on the Motocross Action YouTube channel because they're more geared towards motocross racing. But so if you want to check that event out on those dates, Motocross Action YouTube channel.
Very cool. Can't wait. And look at all the categories here. We got another class on the gate. Like we told you, multiple classes competing here this weekend. Multiple two-strokes out in the pits. Some of them not even racing. It's part bike show, part festival, part race. And earlier, Mark, you had an opportunity to check out some really cool throwback bikes. Let's check out some of the two-strokes out in the pits.
So as we've said time and time again, this race is all about the motorcycles. Not as much about the riders that are on top of those motorcycles, but about those two-stroke motorcycles. We'll see brand new ones here. We'll see older motorcycles. Behind me right now, we have two motorcycles that we built specifically for features in Dirt Bike Magazine. This is a 2001 Honda CR125 that was a complete ground-up rebuild. Wiseco and Jay Clark helped us out with getting all the parts that we needed for the engine and making it come back alive. As you can see, it was everything was replaced and coated and all kinds of stuff. This was a complete feature in the magazine this year. So if you want to find out a little bit more about that, you can go to dirtbikemagazine.com. And then this one, we like to call it the White Lightning bike, but this is a 94 CR250 that, again, Wiseco and Jay Clark help us out with finding all the parts for it, making sure that everything is working, and then, again, a ground-up rebuild with companies like AHM, Pro Circuit, Hinge, Spec Bolt, Recluse, a bunch of advertiser-wise that we do when we go with that stuff. But we build regular, brand new bikes, too, try to make them better. We have these nostalgic builds like this, and you'll see a lot of the bikes that show up are those nostalgic builds. And you know what? You can't really fault people for wanting to build older motorcycles because it's really cool. So if you got a little bit more time on your hands and you want to check out other builds like this, head over to dirtbikemagazine.com, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel.
Mark, you're speaking my language. I love the old bikes, and that's why I love everything you do on the Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel. And I love, it's a term I learned at Mecum Auction, where it's all about preserving history. There is a term out there that hot rodders use called resto rod. And I think it's so cool when you take an old school machine, but you update it. And hey, what better way to update an old played out carburetor than one of these new amazing Lectron carburetors? These things are just awesome.
Yeah, and it's definitely a nice thing because there's a lot of those retro mods that you're talking about that the stock carburetor is long gone. It was thrown away a long time ago, and it's one of those things to where you can get a brand new Lectron carburetor. And Lectron bringing in, if you go to their website and when you do a checkout, you put in promo code 2smoke-LS at the checkout, you get $100 off of the carburetor. So it's a great thing there. Like we were saying earlier, they're bringing they're bringing technology that is easy to adjust. They're bringing you a discount, and you got something that you didn't have before. So it's a great thing. So make sure you put in that promo code to get your discount.
Yeah, big shout out to Lectron. Thanks so much. Again, it is 2-stroke-smoke-LS. You save $100 on an Lectron carburetor. I can't wait to try one. I've tried them on the street. I've tried them on the drag strip. Never had an opportunity to try it on the motocross track or on off-road, but I just hear guys raving about them, saying you'll never go back after you use a Lectron carburetor.
Well, and just like what we saw in the feature, I showed you a couple bikes that haven't even hit the magazine yet, that 94 CR250 that has an 08 front end on it. You got a 96, 97 CR125. You might have to stop by the Wiseco booth and the Lectron booth and maybe some other booths on your way out just to get some parts for that bad boy.
Well, that's why I got a big circle around 2-stroke-smoke-LS when I go to the Lectron website, try to save myself some money. So,
well, in part, Posha says he'll help you dial it in.
Thank you, Posha. I'll take you up on that. Well, we'll take you up on the fact that you're going to stick around because we've got Open Pro Moto #1 coming up right after this.
can't win races fighting your carb. You need power, control, and zero guesswork. For my two-strokes, I choose the Lectron Pro Series. It just works. With more torque, instant throttle response, and absolutely zero jets to mess with ever. Built for two strokes, made for domination.
This live stream is brought to you by Shoei Premium Helmets.
A beautiful day here in San Bernardino, California. It is the two-stroke world championship. Big thanks to our friends from Wiseco. Big thanks to our friends from Fasthouse. And it's time for the big boys. Jack Corpella from the Racing Jack YouTube channel. Mark Tilley alongside me, our host channel, Dirt Bike Magazine. We appreciate everything they're doing. And take a look at this Wiseco starting grid. It is stacked. Our defending champion not here, Mark, but a lot of talent is here.
Oh, yeah, we got Carson Brown's here. He got second last year after a last lap pass by Justin Heff last year. So, yeah, this pretty much a full gate. I mean, there's, as you can see, all these names going down the list. This is a insane amount of people on two strokes. And this is an open class. So this is, you can race a 65cc in here if you want to, but it goes all the way up to 500, 550, whatever you want to race, whatever you have in the garage, you bring out here, and they'll let you race in this class.
There is no replacement for displacement. I know we're going to have to see at least one of those 500s screaming up the hill. But, you know, here's the big story. Justin Heff, who won this event last year, is hurt. He cannot compete. Carson Brown is here with the big Red Bull truck. But the people who have stepped up to challenge him, our buddy, the good old five-time, am I allowed to say five? I guess he's the five-time defending NGP champion, one of the greatest dirt bike racers in the world. Dante Oliveira is here. How about Derek DeMartille, another off-road racer, bringing out the factory beta team. There are some really, really impressive riders who we know are very well conditioned and primed and poised to win this thing.
Yeah, we got test rider Robbie Wageman on the number 64. We have Trevor Stewart's back. Trevor Stewart back on a bike and riding after a little hiatus, but he'll be on the 43 all-white Yamaha backed by Swamp Moto Live. So it's nice to see. Look at that gate. To say that two strokes aren't alive and well in our industry is, you would be crazy. That's a full national gate of open two strokes, and we're here for it. This is, I got goosebumps just waiting for that car to go sideways and for that gate to drop.
Well, right beyond those mountains are the American headquarters of so many of the factories. I hope the OEMs are paying attention. Bring these glorious two strokes back. We love them, and if you don't worry. The enthusiasts here at Glen Helen Raceway are going to keep them alive. Guys, it is the two-stroke world championship. We hope you can make it here in person one day, because if it looks cool on YouTube, it smells even better in person.
Exactly. The smell of two-stroke race gas is like nothing else. So all the riders have been checked to make sure they're ready. They're all looking at that board. That board's going to go sideways. That gate's going to drop, and they're all going to go down into Talladega as fast as they can.
Here we go, guys. Full gate in Open Pro. Who will get the whole shot? Keep an eye on Carson Brown. Here we go. Gates down. We race to the Talladega turn. Who will get the edge? Those two strokes giving it everything. They got somebody way
That's a Yamaha way out front.
Who got the whole shot? We'll find out here in mere moments. Keep an eye on Carson Brown. I see him right there. Carson about 4th or 5th, second here last year.
I think that's Derek Drake out front on that Twisted Development YZ300. And that's Robbie Wageman in second and one of the Beta boys in third.
Oh, shout out. Is it Derek DeMartille on a Beta 300? Told me some of the modifications they made. They took an off-road bike and really set it up for the motocross races here. Put a 19-inch rear wheel on the back, some upgraded suspension, and he's ready to cook. And Mark, you got to believe, we see those guys out in NGPC running the 90-minute motos. They have to be some of the most well-conditioned athletes here.
Oh, yeah, no, they're definitely. And it looks like, so that's Robbie Wageman in second, Carson Brown's in fourth. That's Gardner. That's that's Gardner, and then Derek DeMartell is back there, I believe, in 5th. So we have Drake out front, and then followed by Robbie Wageman, who is just back on a motorcycle. I brought him a Mobius wrist brace this morning to where he could test that out. So just back on a motorcycle, and then Gardner, Brown, and I believe that is DeMartell in right behind Brown. So all the guys, all the players that we were talking about before, all up front and ready to do battle.
Yes, indeed. And where is Dante Oliveira? I'm sure we'll see him creep up into the lead throughout this 20 minutes plus one moto. Carson Brown on, by the way, he is on that Twisted Development KTM motored DRZ chassis Frankenstein that we talked about that performed so well here last year.
RMZ chassis.
RMZ
Not
chassis.
DRZ.
Thank you very much.
We don't want the dual sport bike out here, but I believe if everything...
I wouldn't put it past him.
If I'm right, yeah, Carson would probably go faster on a DRZ chassis than he could on the RMZ chassis, but I believe that's an RMZ 250 chassis. It's the same bike that he ran last year, just with some upgrades. I think TBT did the suspension, and Travis over there working with those guys, but I have it. That looked like that was Dante coming by about mid-pack. So right about now, Carson Brown's looking for a way around Gardner, and Gardner's looking for a way around Wageman.
Here comes Carson, looking to get around Bryson Gardner, brother of the Beta Supercross racing team manager, Carlin Gardner, who helped develop that bike. What a year it's been for Beta, Benny Bloss, and everybody out in that series.
And you were saying that Carlin said he's got his brother for a few laps, right?
I did a video.
I heard that on your, I think it's your Instagram or maybe your Facebook and so now we're calling out Carlin. Carlin, next year we need you here.
I've told him, get him here. I've enticed those guys. They're from California. They'd love to be out here being part of the Two-Stroke Nationals. They're in Newark, New Jersey, racing Supercross this weekend. But again, we're very proud of how far Beta has come as a brand, as a manufacturer. And look at Derek DeMartell, a man who won an NGPC race last year on a factory Beta, hanging with the big boys. There's the aforementioned RMZ KTM motor machine, Carson Brown, trying to find his way to the front of this race.
Well, and I know that Robbie Wageman was going to race a 125 out here too with the Team Solitaire. They got some great looking motorcycles Carson Brown on the inside going around Robbie, I'd be surprised if he can kind of hold on. He's coming off the couch, but coming off an injury. So if he can hang with these guys for any amount of time, it's definitely a win for him. So, but Carson Brown making the pass. Derek Drake is kind of set sail out front, and we don't even see him in the shot right now. So Derek making it look easy on his Twisted Development YZ. That's him coming back the other way. So it's definitely he's kind of set sail, and Carson's going to have to put some hot laps down. And looks like Dare's coming up on that Beta, and he's going to try to get around Wageman as soon as he can and set sail behind Carson Brown.
Tremendous battle for the lead here. Our opening Open Pro Moto from the Two-Stroke Nationals. What an awesome time it has been walking through the pits, seeing all the builds, the modern two-strokes, the old two-strokes, the resto rods. I really love those. I love seeing some of these bikes that look like they're from the 80s and early 90s, but they got all modern parts on them. Let's give you a look at our running order right now as the Yamaha continues to lead Carson Brown and Robbie Wageman, followed by Derek DeMartell and Brandon Ray. Bryson Gardner now 6th place. Dante Oliveira has worked his way up to 7th. The aforementioned Darren Durham, former standout motocross racer all the way from Pennsylvania, out for this race, currently running 8th.
Yeah, and we got Trevor Stewart rounding out the top 10 on that number 43 Yamaha. So, man, racing action is just getting started here in the first moto, and you're going to see, it looks like Dare, well, right behind Dare, we've got a new, I think that's Brandon Ray out, he was we will see him in the Posha class, one of the Posha 125 classes, riding one of Posha's bikes later on in this feature too.
great aerial coverage here. We want to thank Fasthouse, Lectron, all of our sponsors on board, the ones that make it happen here. Guys, remember to support those who support your sport. Thanks for being a part of this great live broadcast, this great live coverage today from perhaps the most famous motocross track in the world, Glen Helen Raceway.
Yeah, well, and you can see that we're looking at the tail end of the top 5, but that bike that Wageman's riding, Team Solitaire and Ryan Clark over there do a great job when it comes to theming bikes. We've covered a couple of them in the past, but this was a retro throwback to an MC, the King's Yamaha. So they got the gear that kind of matches, and you've seen it on social media and stuff like that, but it's kind of it's a modern twist on a McGrath era YZ250.
That is so cool. And not a whole lot of people, when you talk about the career of Jeremy McGrath, remember him instantly on a Yamaha, but he did do a great job out there on a Yamaha late in his career. I'll tell you who else is doing a great job, and that's one of our sponsors, Lectron Fuel Systems. Get a load of this, Mark. If you go to the Lectron website and you use code 2-stroke-smoke-LS at checkout, you will get $100 off of one of those awesome carburetors we've been talking about.
Yeah, no, and that's and Dare rockets around the outside and just sneaks by Robbie Wageman. So it looks like what we got now. We got Derek Drake, Carson Brown, Dare DeMartell, Robbie Wageman, Brandon Ray, Dante Oliveira has moved into 6th, and Bryson Gardner in 7th.
We've got ourselves a battle here. It is Moto number 1. Just a picture-perfect, beautiful day for racing. If you remember, last year we actually had to reschedule this race due to torrential downpours. Yesterday, just a little sprinkle, and I got to say, the way this track looks, Mark, just enough rain to make it perfect.
Oh, yeah, no, second motos are going to be amazing on this track. Like, amazingly rough, but amazing. I'm glad I'm calling this from the booth, that's for sure. But it looks like Carson Brown putting on a charge, going to in 2nd place. Now it's just got to see if he can hunt down Derek Drake. But the guy making some moves right now is definitely your five-time guy, is Dante Oliveira on that factory KTM. I got to see that bike, and we got to shoot it in the studio. We're going to do a full story on that bike. But you know, Bobby D spinning the wrenches on that, and down to the inside of Wageman. I think Wageman is kind of spent a little bit, because he's like I said, coming back from injury, and it's definitely something that he doesn't want to hinder those guys, and he doesn't want to make a mistake at the speeds that they're going.
Dante Oliveira on a move, as you said, Mark. We'll see what he can do. Now, for those of you not familiar with Dante, and I'm sure you are if you follow dirt bike racing, I say one of the greatest stories out there. He dominates the off-road series here on the West Coast, went east, won a GNCC, has come so close to winning 6 days, said he has never entered the 2-stroke nationals, really wants to add this accolade to his resume.
Well, and he just added another thing that he's never done. He just won a National Hare and Hound. So on the West Coast, the national, basically we call it the desert racing, but National Hare and Hound, he just won his first National Hare and Hound, I believe this last weekend. So he's racking up all kinds of wins all over the United States. He's a threat to win no matter what he's doing. And his brother's coming along right behind him and wanting to do the same stuff.
Derek Drake continues to lead this out of Lake Elsinore, California. Carson Brown running 2nd, followed by Dare DeMartell here in 3rd. Robbie Wageman drifting back to 4th. Here comes Brandon Ray, Dante Oliveira, Bryson Gardner are your top 8 so far as we take a look at this field. Do you think, are these motos long enough that we're going to hit lap traffic?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that we'll hit some lap traffic. A lot of these guys are going speeds that are definitely it's kind of mind blowing when you're watching it on the track. But yeah, they'll hit lap traffic. I don't think it's going to be as bad because the track's not as fast as in years past. But you never know. So it looks like Robbie Wageman, that coming off the couch with the injured wrist, is kind of taking a little bit of effect on him. But those guys out front are definitely fast. Now, Derek Drake was a last-minute kind of addition to this race, and really not somebody we thought about getting out there, but it shows you how important a start is, and he was able to get out there and kind of run away at the beginning, and it's just whether or not Carson can pull him back in.
Great racing here for Moto number 1 of the Open Pro Two-Stroke Nationals. Derek Drake, what a tremendous story. We got to find out more about this individual. I mean, a last-minute ad and coming out here leading the way in Moto number 1. Very, very impressive. Anytime you can hold off Carson Brown, you know you have done your job. I wonder, too, that spike was relatively new last year, the Twisted Development BBR RMZ 300. Do you think they've been able to refine it throughout the year?
They haven't. I know they haven't because it's been, I think Derek Drake actually rode it at Mammoth this year, and there's been other people that have ridden it. And then Carson kind of came into town last week. Jamie freshened it up and made it a little bit better. They did some suspension stuff, and but yeah, no, this bike doesn't get ridden very much. It gets ridden the week before events like this, and sometimes the week after if they're doing something else. But you know, it's definitely it's cool that Jamie from Twisted Development is building these kind of things and letting these guys race these kind of things. So, and again, he's I'm almost positive that bike that Derek Drake is riding is another Twisted Development creation, and they can definitely build some motorcycles over there at Twisted.
No doubt about it. Derek Drake continuing to lead his way around here, followed by Carson Brown, Dare DiMartino, and look at Dante Oliveira up to 4th place now. Watch out for him. Speaking with Dante, he said he has not spent a considerable amount of time on a two-stroke since 2017. He's been all 4-stroke.
And he's riding on an air fork. He's not riding on the cone valve system or anything. And they basically said that. I talked to Timmy Wiegand, and he said that they're just doing that because they didn't have testing time. They didn't have the time to make something work, and they went out for one day at Paula and tested and kind of went from there. So really, Dante's the only one that is like Derek Drake. It's no fluke. He's running the fastest lap times with Dante in second on the lap time scale, and then I believe Carson Brown's in top 3. But Derek Drake putting down some fast laps, almost on some occasions a couple seconds faster than the next guy in line. But the last lap it was about a second faster. So Derek making that Twisted Development YZ300 look really good out front.
Derek Drake leading this field, this very tough field on that Yamaha. You know our Glen Helen track sponsor, Yamaha, absolutely loving this. And how appropriate, too, that Yamaha is the only manufacturer that's really stayed with the YZ250. Still puts out a 250 two-stroke. How many years do you think that'll continue? I hope they never stop making that YZ250.
Yeah, I think they sell a lot of them. I definitely think they sell a lot of them. And they're making changes. Yamaha only makes changes when it's something that makes the bike better. So it's definitely a cool thing. They were one of the only Japanese manufacturers to keep making them. And they've sold a lot of motorcycles as they've done it, and they're great motorcycles. I mean, if you ride a YZ250 or a YZ125 and you don't have a smile on your face, there's something wrong with your face.
No doubt about that. As Derek Drake continues to lead, here's some of the aforementioned lap traffic that we talked about. He is already running into it. I got to believe we're hitting the late stage of this moto. Remember, 20+1, getting a little loose out there. Perhaps fatigue creeping up on Derek Drake.
Yeah, and again, track not as rough as it's going to be in the second moto. So definitely look out for that second moto, and a good handling motorcycle is going to be your friend in that second moto. You might not need all that horsepower, but you're going to want something that handles.
Derek Drake, Carson Brown, Dare DiMartino, Dante Oliveira, Bryson Gardner, your top 5. Big shout out to Bryson, coming right out of the Supercross factory trucks on filling in Philadelphia, gets back into the saddle, and is just doing a fantastic job for Factory Beta. They got to be very pleased with that.
Well, and look at the different bikes we have. We got a Yamaha, we got a hybrid Suzuki KTM, we got a factory KTM, 2 factory Betas, and then another Yamaha. So it's great to see all all these different manufacturers up there, and then these guys don't ride two-strokes, except for maybe Carson Brown. These guys ride two-strokes once, maybe twice a year. So it's great to see the speed, and it's just great racing.
Yeah, and that can be a real adjustment period, too. Talking to some of the guys out there in the pits, they said it's easy to overjump everything. You're so used to engine braking on a four-stroke. These bikes are so light, so speedy, so nimble. They hit that power band so efficiently that it really is a different animal.
Yeah, well, and when you go back to Yamaha, I mean, Yamaha and KTM make bikes for the entire family. They make two-strokes for the entire family, starting at the iconic PW50, but then you have KTM with 50s as well, and then you got 65s, you got 85s, 125s. So the two manufacturers that are, you can stay on a KTM from the first time you ride to the last time you ride. Same thing with the Yamaha. It's just great to see a manufacturer meeting the demands of the industry.
Here we go, guys. Final stages of our first moto here at the Two-Stroke Nationals Open Pro category. Big thanks goes out to Wiseco for their support of this event. Fasthouse as well. Wish I could teleport each and every one of you to the Midway. They have such an awesome display out there. It is like a big Southern California party, a big celebration of two-strokes. There's a lot of bikes that aren't even racing. There's some restoration companies out there just showing off their great work. There's one company out there that has, I think they have every year CR from like 91
steel frame
to 98. They're beautiful.
Yeah, no, and that's the cool part about the industry. Like, there's companies like Wiseco that make stuff for, bikes going back, 20, 30 years. And then there's other companies that are got the two-lap board out now, but there's other companies like Ventco that does stuff for the older model Yamahas and older model, Hondas and Makos and all that kind of stuff. And you see all that here. If you haven't been to this event, we highly recommend you come out and experience it in person. The smell, the sights, the sounds, you won't be disappointed.
I second that. I love it. I love everything about two-strokes. Love everything about this event, and it just seems to get bigger and badder every single year. Thank you, Glen Helen. Thank you to all of our great sponsors. And I will say this. I don't know if anybody had Derek Drake as their pre-race pick to win this thing. I got to be honest. My eyes were on Carson Brown, Dante Oliveira, who's now up to third, by the way. According to our results, got by Dare DiMartile. And Bryson Gardner still running top 5. So as for Carson, remember the way this format works, it's combined scores. 2 is as good as a 1 in the first moto, and Carson knows that. But so does Dante. Dante knows he's got to try to get around Carson Brown if he wants to control his own destiny in moto number 2.
Yeah, a little bucket up right, coming down that hill. But yeah, Derek Drake, like you said, I don't think he was on very many radars out here. Definitely himself for sure, and then the Twisted crew. But Carson Brown has probably looked at it and said, yeah, you know what, we're not going to catch him in the first moto, but Carson's in really good shape and can ride all day long. So, and that you tell me that Suzuki chassis is stable at high speeds, and when it gets rough, it only gets better with that TBT suspension. So, Derek Drake definitely going to have his hands full in the second moto, trying to repeat what he did in this first moto, but getting out, kudos to him and his preparation, because whatever he did it right. And Carson looking good right now in second, and then Dante, like I said, making his way from the back of the pack up to third. All looking good for the second moto.
Yes, indeed. It is Derek Drake, Carson Brown, Dante Oliveira, Dare DiMartile, Bryson Gardner, Robbie Wageman, Trevor Stewart up to 7th. Good run for the hometown rider from Rancho Cucamonga, California. A lot of talk about Darren Durham. He's running top 20, 15th for now. He comes from my neck of the woods. Big shout out to his racing family, PR2 suspension, watching from Pennsylvania. Here comes the white flag. Shout out to our talented flag lady out there at the pink. It wasn't pink, was it? It looked like pink.
Yeah, she's definitely she's definitely throwing it out there.
Derek Drake getting it done. But again, this goes back to what we talked about. We saw it kind of last year with Ryan Villapoto, definitely one of the fastest men in the world. Incredible talent, great pedigree. But the minute you kind of go into dad mode or let up on your training, these young guns take over, because people like Dante Oliveira, people like Derek DeMartile, Carson Brown, they're out there burning 5 gallons of gas a day.
Exactly, and loving every minute of it, and wanting more. So, like I said, I think Derek Drake, impressive ride here in the first moto, and it looks like he's got a GoPro on, so I'm sure we're going to see some of that GoPro footage online here sometime soon. So, and then it looked like there was Carson Brown right there going back the other way. So I think that this is where they're going to end up on in Moto 1. It doesn't look like anybody's close enough to make passes or make any big moves. So providing that all of these bikes make it to the finish line, it's and 2 twisted development bikes. One, 2. So that Jamie Ellis guy might have a clue of what he's doing. Like he's usually at the front of this race one way or another. And I don't think I think Jamie's bikes, the bikes that he's built, I think that he's been on the podium more than any other performance, aftermarket performance or engine guy for this particular event, because I know last year it was almost a podium sweep.
Such a cool guy, and I love his mentality. It's something we see in other forms of racing, dyno shootouts, drag racing, getting the most out of these bikes, building these crazy Frankensteins. You don't see them a lot, and you don't see that kind of person a lot out here in motocross, but it is really, really cool what Twisted Development can do. I want to thank all of our other great sponsors, too. Remember, Wiseco Fasthouse all starts with them, Lectron Fuel Systems, Shoei Premium Helmets, Glen Helen Raceway, Dirt Bike Magazine, Motocross Action Magazine, all of our friends from High Torque Media Group, making it happen today. Mark, thank you for letting us air this beauty on our favorite YouTube channel, Dirt Bike Magazine.
Oh, it's an honor to be able to do it, to be able to bring this to people, and the staff that's bringing it to you. Oh, you almost went down in the last turn, but Derek Drake looked like he's coming across the finish line to get that checkered flag, and we'll have him up here in the booth and talk to him about what he's got going on and what he did to get here, that's for sure.
So Derek Drake on a Yamaha ends up taking the win here in Moto number 1. There comes Carson Brown. He'll finish second. Did Dante Oliveira hold third? It looks like he may. Derek DeMartile and Bryson Gardner coming home. It looks like the factory betas will finish 4th and 5th here in Moto number 1. Bobby Wageman 6, Trevor Stewart 7. As we take a look at Fasthouse results. Again, we want to thank Fasthouse so much for their involvement in this event. One of the great companies who make it happen. Who would have thought that Derek Drake would be your winner here in Moto number 1? We've got a lot more to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us. The 2-stroke World Championship from Glen Helen. We'll be back right after this.
You can't win races fighting your carb. You need power, control, and zero guesswork. For my 2-strokes, I choose the Lectron Pro Series. It just works. With more torque, instant throttle response, and absolutely zero jets to mess with ever. Built for 2-strokes, made for domination.
This live stream is brought to you by Lectron Fuel Systems. Use code two-stroke smoke-LS at checkout for $100 off your next carburetor.
Look at this gorgeous look high atop the iconic and legendary Glen Helen Raceway, San Bernardino, California. We are having a great time at the Wiseco Two-Stroke World Championship presented by Fasthouse. Jack Corpella and Mark Tilley on the call, and we just witnessed a tremendous performance by Derek Drake getting the win out there on the Yamaha. He has stepped into the booth to join me. Derek, congratulations. I was telling Mark on the broadcast too, we know you're such an incredible talent. We didn't really even know you were going to be in this event a few weeks ago. How did this all come about, and how were you so dominant today?
Well, I was sitting on the couch about, a week and a half ago, and Jamie called me and said he had a bike for me, and said, yeah, why not? So Jamie's a proven, he's bikes out here that's won the years past, so it was an easy decision, and we made the most of it.
Well, I was very impressed too with the start that you got. I mean, do you attribute that to this incredible Twisted Development build?
Oh yeah, of course. Wouldn't have happened if I was on a stock bike, that's for sure. So yeah, luckily we got a good motorcycle underneath us for today, and looking forward to the second moto.
What's your assessment of the track? It looked like it was in great condition from our standpoint. You certainly know a lot better than us. Was it getting rough yet, or was it pretty smooth?
It was pretty smooth for the most part, but we actually got lucky with the rain yesterday for how the track is today. If we didn't have any rain during the week, it was going to be a flat, square-edge track, but luckily we got some moisture in the ground, and it's a perfect racetrack.
Man, so what is the strategy heading into Moto number 2 that we have seen time after time here at Glen Helen? Things can change so much from Moto 1 to Moto 2. How do you just go out there and repeat?
Well, I seemed to hit the nail on the head the first Moto, so I'm going to do it again.
And with the fast guys coming behind you, Carson Brown, Dante Oliveira, Dare DeMartille, any fear or trepidation that they may be able to get this thing figured out a little bit heading into Moto number 2?
Of course. I mean, they're going to go back, and I don't know if they're going to talk about things, change things. I don't know. But, yeah, I never count any of those guys out. They're here, and they're good for a reason. So I'm just going to do my thing, and we'll see who comes across the checkered flag first.
Well, that's awesome, man. Before I let you go, if you could, tell me a little bit more about your background, your greatest accomplishment in your racing career, because, like I said, we've talked about everybody else. We didn't do a lot of pre-race talk about you because we weren't sure that you were going to enter. So yeah. let me know, what was the greatest accomplishment of your career up until this point?
Well, it's been a pretty long, tough road the last couple of years since I turned pro. I've just struggled with health issues, and the last race I won was pretty much Loretta's, so it's been a long time, and I'm looking forward to getting back on the top step and having a really good outdoor season this year. I'm starting to get my body figured out with this Lyme disease stuff, and, it's been a huge work in progress. It's a lot of work every day to get it fixed, but it's definitely working.
Well, great job. We can't wait to watch you in Moto number 2. Good luck. We'll let you get back to the pits. We'll let them rest up, get the bike ready, and we will continue on with the Wiseco Two-Stroke World Championship. Speaking of our friends from Wiseco who have the absolute best pistons on the market, let's find out a little bit more about Wiseco.
So we're down here in the pits of the World Two-Stroke Championship. We decided to stop by and talk to Kevin and the boys down at Wiseco. They got all kinds of stuff going on. They got a top-end challenge to where you can actually come here, show your skills, change the top end on this CR250. They got all the gaskets and everything all set up. Change the piston on a CR250. The fastest person to do it gets a free top end. Then they got stuff. They got top ends. They got their brand new pistons out. They got top ends on display and top ends for sale down here. Wiseco has been around since the 40s. Yeah, the 1940s. I believe it was 1941 when they came into the two-stroke world, making two-stroke pistons. They do make pistons for just about any two-stroke or four-stroke model that you could want. They got swag down here. They got brand new stuff. Come check out, if you're here, come check out Kevin and the crew down here because they probably have something that you need.
What great racing we are witnessing at the two-stroke World Championship. It is everything we thought it would be. And you know what my favorite part is, Mr. Mark Tilley? We are not done yet. We still got a lot of racing action to get through. It has been an absolute thriller.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, you can't ask for better conditions, racetrack conditions, better weather, better action on the racetrack. We've seen some knockdown, drag-out wars, and like you said, we're not done yet. We both went and had a California smash burger, and we're kind of in a food coma right about now. But thanks to Miguel and Amy down at California Smash Burgers for that great food, and now we're fueled up and ready for more motos.
That's right, and it is going to be an absolutely thrilling second moto. We want to thank all of our great sponsors, too. We've hit them, Wiseco and Fasthouse, all throughout this broadcast. We also want to continue to thank Lectron Fuel Systems. Remember, guys, if you go to the Lectron website and you use 2 strokes smoke -LS at checkout, you can save $100 on a Lectron carburetor. And from everything I've heard, Mark, I just can't wait to try one.
Well, and we saw the feature earlier in this. You can rewind it if you want to go back and see it, but Posha was explaining the Lectron carburetor to us and how you adjust it and how you go for that. And then he even put it out there that if you contact him on his Instagram channel and buy one from him, he'll come out to Glen Helen and help you dial it in on your motorcycle. So really, there's kind of no excuses. You get the discount, you get the product, and he'll help you dial it in. So, high atop Glen Helen that we're looking down, and we're ready for that Open Pro Moto.
That's right. Let's take a look at our Wiseco starting grids. This field is stacked. Does anybody have anything for our surprise entrant who we talked to moments ago, the one and only Derek Drake? I got some information, too, that I'm going to tell you throughout this broadcast after we take a look at this full field. And kind of like I said with the 125s, did somebody not have a great moto in Moto 1 that's going to step up in Moto 2? As you can see, Mark, there's a lot of talent here that has the potential to do so.
Yeah, definitely. And there's always somebody that comes out second moto. The track's a lot rougher. There's line selections a lot more important. And just hanging on. We got to see Ryan got to see his hands after doing a couple motos on a 125 nonetheless. Now, these guys are going to be on big bore machines. Most of them on 300s that come stock 300s, or some of them that don't come stock. Lots of like Derek Drake on that Twisted Development YZ 300. So lots of development that Jamie Ellis and the crew do down there to bring that bike up there. But I know that those bikes have won a lot of races. So we got CR500s out there, KX500s out there. Carson Brown is on another Twisted Development motorcycle that's a hybrid RMZ that's powered by a carbureted KTM 300. So we got lots of stuff going on.
We are about 2 minutes away from dropping the gate on our main event, Moto number 2 in the Open Pro category. Jack Rapella, Mark Tilley here with you. Hope you are loving it. It is the Wiseco World Two-Stroke Championship hosted by Fasthouse. It's going to be awesome. Look at that gate. Another name to remember is Dante Oliveira, the 5-time dominator from the NGPC series, a guy who just last year with Shugal Outdoor was running top 15, battling with Malcolm Stewart. He could certainly get it done. But talking about the man who surprised us all, at least me, in Moto number 1, that is Derek Drake, somebody who's really fast. He's raced Supercross, raced motocross. He told us about his battle with Lyme disease. He's finally feeling better. He's finally feeling healthy. He has the energy, and he has the bike, because get a load of this. We might have to call the Two-Stroke Nationals the Twisted Development Nationals, because Jamie Ellis, he just texted me, they've won this thing 4 years in a row. Justin Hepp, Carson Brown, Trevor Stewart, Robbie Wageman. Those are some big, big names. And Jamie Ellis is, he's the mad scientist that likes to put all these big bores together and get all the dyno time out there and just squeeze every ounce of horsepower he possibly can out of this bike. And Mark, that bike that Derek's on, that is Jamie's personal YZ300 that he rides vet races with.
Yeah, and Jamie's one of those guys that if you go to his shop, they got bikes everywhere. And there's a bunch of motorcycles that are there, and he kind of just lets people ride him and wants to see them go fast and wants to win races. And those stats that you gave us are just the winners of this event, not the other bikes that were here, because I think he swept the podium with bikes last year in the Open Pro class. And then we're not even talking about the 125 classes. So he builds a lot of great motorcycles. And you look at this line, like, that looks like a national event. Almost every one of those gates are full. Look, you got the great background, the San Bernardino Mountains in the background. Like, it does not get, if you're a two-stroke fan, it does not get any better than this.
It does not. Hope you are loving it again. Please support all of our great sponsors. Support Glen Helen, bringing you this action today. The 30-second cart is out. The young lady coming on the track. It is time to drop the gate here. Moto number 2 from San Bernardino.
Somebody got a huge jump on the inside.
Yeah, way to the inside. Somebody out in front headed into Talladega turn. Who's got the whole shot here?
That was like cheating.
Oh,
he
my
got
God.
way out there.
I think Carson Brown's in the top 3. Oh, no, somebody down right away. Another rider
That was
down.
Carson Brown.
Carson Brown goes down. Huge implications here on the overall. We've got multiple motorcycles down. This has thrown a monkey wrench into the happening here at Glen Helen.
But I believe that's Wageman out front now. So the rider that got the whole shot went down on the inside, and I'm not sure if that collected Carson Brown or Carson Brown just kind of went a little bit sideways and had some of his own problems. We'll have to go back and look at that. But that, it looked like there was a Yamaha out front. So coming down the hill, no, it's not a Yamaha. I think it's a Beta.
Yeah, Team Beta has brought it strong here today. Dare DeMartille out there doing a fantastic job. Another one of the stars from the off-road series. Bryson Gardner out here. They took a couple Beta 300s, put 19-inch rear wheels on them, motocross type suspension, a bunch of other goodies, and boy, they are flying today. So don't sleep on them. But Mark, just like we talked about earlier today, this is what you got to love about this sport. It is a what have you done for me lately sport. You can go from the penthouse to the outhouse pretty darn quick.
Exactly, and this great drone footage kind of shows us what's going on. But I do believe that is a Yamaha out front. If you look, they're going over kind of going into our second Talladega, I guess, but then working their way back. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see when they come across the finish line where everybody scores. That's Dante Oliveira right there, making a move past the Gas rider. So right here, I guess that was Gary Sutherland that he was going around riding on a Swap Moto Live Gas 300, I believe.
So we will sort it all out this time by. We'll get the data from the transponders. The big question mark is, where is Derek Drake, winner of our first moto? Did he survive that carnage? Here we go, guys. First time by. We'll have some data for you momentarily. The opening lap of Open Pro Moto 2 from the two-stroke nationals.
And live timing and scoring shows us that Dare DeMartille is out front with Bryson Gardner.
Team Beta bringing it. Man, what a big year it has been for them. I really got to give them a shout out. They brought me inside the factory Supercross truck in Philadelphia. Bryson was there. Carlin was there. They were showing me that truck has absolutely everything they need to rebuild a bike 10 times over. That truck doesn't come back to California until the end of the motocross series. But, you know, Mark, they're becoming a serious player out there.
So we just got updated live timing and scoring. Derek Drake is out front on that Yamaha.
Okay, Derek Drake out front once again on a Jamie Ellis Twisted Development Yamaha YZ300. Jamie, by the way, could not be here today. He's at a Loretta Lynn qualifier with his son. Wishing him all the best, but no doubt he is watching us right now, cheering on Derek Drake out of Lake Elsinore, California. Can that big bad Yamaha YZ300 get it done once again here at Glen Helen?
Well, and with that, it looks like that Derek is definitely going to make this easy on us for math if he can get out there. But as we saw, Carson Brown was down in the second turn. He finished second in Moto number 1, and then Dante Oliveira was in third. Dare DeMartille was in fourth, and Bryson Gardner was in fifth. So as they run right now, the Beta Boys kind of got one over on Dante. So they might move up in the overall category. Again, this is the first lap. and you know Dante's going to charge from behind. So, but that leaves it open for Dante if he can get around. Now he's in third. If he can get around Derek DeMartile and make a run at Derek Drake, that's the overall implications right there. Well, maybe not, because he finished fourth. So Derek Drake's in a really good spot right now. He can drop back a couple spots and still get this overall, it looks like.
There's a lot of difficult math out there in motocross, but I'll tell you one that is not, and that is 1-1.
Exactly.
Derek Drake knows if he can hang on for this 20+1 and hold off a fast-charging Derek DeMartile. There is a look at Dante Oliveira, the five-time NGPC champion. Sorry, Bobby Dawson said I couldn't say it today, his chief mechanic, but I'll say it anyways. We'll see if Dante up to third. Hold on now, guys. You're talking about an individual who's won at GNCC, dominated NGPC, potentially could win 6 days this year. That's his ultimate goal. I asked him, about pro motocross and supercross, and the man you're taking a look at right there, Dante Oliveira, more than anything, he wants to win 6 days.
Yeah, and that's a huge feat. It's definitely something to set your sights on, and it seems like everything he's set his sights on so far, he's been able to win, so you can't count him out. But yeah, he's starting to make a little bit of a gain on Dare. Again, that track being a lot rougher than Moto 1. These guys battle it out for hour and a half motos, but it looks like Dante is making huge gains coming up the hill right now, and if he can make that pass and get by Dare clean, you've got to set his sights on Derek Drake and see what he can do.
Derek Drake is in great shape, though. It was great to talk to him. That was the first time I met him when you guys saw him earlier on. And how about that? You're talking about a man with a pedigree, a Loretta Lynn winner in the A category. There's not a lot of people that can see that, can say that. That's very, very impressive. And it was the Lyme disease, unfortunately, that set him back. So I'm so happy to hear that his fight with Lyme disease is going in the right direction.
Yeah, well, and as we were talking about that, Dante was able to make the pass around Dare and kind of pull out a little bit. So now we're going to see him put down some fast laps, see if he can catch Derek.
Wow, look at that gap, though, Derek has put on Dante. It's unbelievable. Derek DeMartile doing a fantastic job as well. He's hoping for some positive news from Beta. As we said in our last NGPC broadcast, been with the team for 3 years. Contract year for him. Hoping to get re-signed. All indications are why would you not,
I don't
right?
think he's got any worry about that. I think that the crew over at Beta likes what they see from Dare, and definitely the progress over the last few years in off-road racing. And then you have a talent that can come and do this kind of stuff and battle with some moto guys, because that's where he comes from. So it's definitely going to be cool to see what Dante can do moving forward right now. Is Derek going to be able to hold him off, or will Dante make that jump?
So we'll get a look at the gap as they cross the finish line. Great aerial coverage courtesy of the Lectron drone here as we continue on. What a beautiful day for racing it's been. Hope you're loving every single minute of it, guys. Make sure you show Glen Helen some love and all of our great sponsors for bringing you the Two-Stroke World Championship live. There is that factory Beta 300cc machine. Now, stock comes with an 18-inch rear wheel set up for the woods. They put a 19 on it, a few other goodies. Mark, how do you think they were able to dial that bike in enough to compete with the KTM and the YZ300?
Yeah, I think that Dare and Bryson are definitely doing a great job putting these bikes up there. And, it looks like the whole Beta team is here and doing lots of work. I know Dare's dad doing all the wrenching on his motorcycle. So I got to say they probably don't have a bunch of time of testing on this, but they're doing a great job and a great showing for Beta in general. So, Derek Drake, again, surprising a lot of people. Probably not surprising himself, but surprising a lot of people with 2 really good starts and just kind of making it boring up front.
So some more information about that beautiful 80 Yamaha that you're taking a look at. Again, Jamie Ellis of Twisted Development's personal bike. He tells me bought it brand new in 21, and right after he bought it, it went straight into the dyno room. How about that? I mean, who buys a brand new bike, takes it straight into the dyno room? Let's rip this thing apart. This would be a great question for Jamie, but Mark, you may know, do you lose any reliability when you put a big bore kit in these things and punch them out to 300 cc's?
I think you do maybe over kind of the stock version, but these guys are pushing the limit. So I mean, this is a top 2% of the sport that can go this fast and take a bike to the extreme. So yeah, these guys would probably break the stock ones too. But Jamie, lots and lots of research when it comes down to finding out what works best. They do put a big bore on it, but then he also does other stuff to it. Like it's not just, oh, we're slapping this on there and we're dialing the carbs. He's doing other stuff once he puts this together. I've written many stories on these particular motorcycles. I think the first one was a Trevor Stewart bike that Trevor won one of these races on. So the bikes, I mean, I've gotten to ride them, and I don't want to go that fast. Like, these things are insanely fast. So, you know, those guys know, Jamie knows what he's doing. He's got a great crew behind him, and I don't think there's going to be any issues with durability with those motorcycles for sure. It looks like Dante's running a slightly faster lap time, but only by tenths of a second. And I'm not sure that's going to be enough to get up to the back fender of Derek.
Well, what amazes me, great visuals, great camera shots there. There was that last shot moments ago, and maybe even this one. You can look, there accentuates, that is the visual of just how big that gap is. Look at Derek's leap. If it continues like this, we got to twist Jamie Ellis's arm, and we got to get Derek Drake to the next NGPC round out at Paula and see if maybe he's got the endurance to hang for 90 minutes, because we don't see hardly anybody build up this much of a gap on Dante Oliveira.
Yeah, and it's definitely something to think about. Now, I know that this is, when I talk to, we're actually going to do a full story on this motorcycle that you see on screen right now. And there's not a lot done to it. There's factory prep by Bobby Dawson, but kind of some suspension, some triple clamps, some other stuff. No major internal mods. I'm not sure about Derek's bike. I hear that this one could be a stroker. It could be all kinds of different stuff. So, but that's the cool part about the two-stroke championship, is that nobody really knows. And it's kind of, well, yeah, that's a stroker, and that's a big bore, and that's this, and that's that. And then come to find out, no, it's a completely stock motorcycle internally. So it's always great to hear the rumor mill go wild in the pits.
Yeah, it's always great to see what these crew chiefs and mechanics come up with, as well as they all search for a competitive edge. And you need it when you come here to the Two-Stroke Nationals, and we certainly hope you get a chance to join us one year here. I have fallen in love with this event. Like I said, my only wish is that I could send you the smells, because it sounds great. It smells even better. What a tremendous broadcast here today. Tremendous racing action. And again, the pits are just absolutely packed. Racing alive and well at Glen Helen. We had 1,800 here a month ago for NGPC, and I got to believe we're not too far off that mark here, at least giving it the eye test. I had to park like a mile away. I should have told him I was Mark Tilley. I would have got VIP parking right next to the tower.
Yeah, I didn't even get that. I had to park about a mile away. In the motorhome, there was no room for it getting in this place. But Carson Brown has worked his way up to 9th place overall, right behind Robbie Wageman. So there is definitely some movement going on there. It looks like he's running right in front of the Fasthouse rider, Darren Durham, right behind Robbie Wageman and Trevor Stewart. So Carson's still not out of this thing yet.
Still not out of it. Runner-up last year, winner from 2 years ago. Now, if memory serves me right, when Carson won 2 years ago, wasn't he on a YZ300?
He was, yeah, you know what? I think he was. I think he was on a YZ300, and that would have been
Jamie's Twisted Development.
Yeah, Jamie's had his hands on lots of motorcycles that Carson's been racing lately, that's for sure. The last couple years, he's been on that RM frame and the KTM engine. But yeah, I do believe the year before he won it on a Yamaha.
So we'll see if Carson Brock can continue to work his way up as we take a look at the running order here presented by Wiseco. Let's take a look at our top 10. Derek Drake leads the way. Dante Oliveira behind him. Dare DeMartille, Bryson Gardner, Brandon Ray, Carson Brown, Gary Sutherland, Trevor Stewart. Nice way to bounce back from an injury for him, running top 8. Robbie Wageman, 9th, and Darren Durham picked up 5 spots so far, coming off the couch from Pennsylvania, running top 10 right now.
Well, and it looks like Carson's making some more moves, because the last time we talked about him, he was in 9th. So now he's up to 6th. This is definitely going to switch up the overall. I think that we got Derek Drake doing the 1-1, and then Dante Oliveira going, I think, 3-2 if we're where we're at right now. Now we just got to kind of see where Dare DeMartille lands. I think that he would get a 3rd overall because of Carson being back down in 6th. But we're not done yet. I haven't seen the 2-lap board come out. And Carson Brown is making some huge gains.
That's right. We still got a ways to go here. We'll see how it all shakes out and who gets the overall today. If Derek Drake can hang on, we know that's an easy one, 1-1. But what did we learn in the last moto? And we've learned time and time again, it's not over till it's over.
Well, and it looks like Carson, looking at Carson's lap times, he's running a 2:36, which is closer to what the leaders are. And the 2 guys in front of him are running in the 240s. So depending on how much time we got left, Carson might have a chance to make it into the top 3.
Fastest man on track right now, the orange bike you're taking a look at, Dante Oliveira, 2:34 last time by. Picked up 1 second on Derek Drake, but is it enough? Does he have enough time? Dante's got to realize this isn't a 90-minute NGPC. We're just a few laps away from sending this one home, and I don't know if a second a lap's going to be enough to do it. Look at that gap. Unbelievable.
Yeah, right now he's got a 9-second gap that he'd have to make up on Derek Drake. I think Derek Drake is kind of doing a little bit of race monitoring from the front. So it's definitely nice to see him get that whole shot and get out there.
The sweet sounds of high-performance 2-strokes here at Glen Helen Raceway. Gotta love it. Jack Rapella, Mark Tilley with you as we send him up through Talladega Turn on a beautiful day for racing. Happy Easter weekend, everybody. Let's keep this great tradition going strong. Let's do this each and every year. Don't let those old 2-strokes die. 2-strokes live forever if you take care of them, right?
Well, yeah, and there's a 2-stroke that's living forever right there. That's an actual RM250. That's not the hybrid motorcycle that Carson Brown is riding. That's another 250 Suzuki that we're following right now, and I believe he's just back in the pack.
22 stories up Mount St. Glen Helen using every possible inch of horsepower on that awesome motorcycle as we continue on. It is Open Pro Moto 2 from the 2-Stroke Nationals. Big thanks to our presenting sponsor, Fasthouse, our primary sponsor, Wiseco, Lectron, all the great sponsors, Shoei Helmets, everybody on board to make this the happening that it is. It was really cool to talk to Dante Oliveira out in the pits, too. This is his first time entering this. And I said, man, doesn't this feel like a pro national? And he said, it sure does. Feels awesome. Oh, wait a minute.
That's our leader.
Ladies and gentlemen, problems for our leader. What did we tell you? We told you a lot can happen. Major implications. Oh, no, Derek Drake with potentially a bike failure. The 80 is coming off. What happened? What happened to Derek Drake? Devastating. A 9-second lead, and now he is off the track. The motorcycle is off. We talked about that announcer's jinx. Let's hope we didn't give it to him. Jamie Ellis's streak of winning this thing 4 years in a row in jeopardy now. Did the motorcycle seize? Did it shut off? We were talking so much about reliability. What happened out there, Mark?
I don't know, but that puts Dante in the lead.
Dante Oliveira, your new leader. And what does that do to our overall? We're going to have to get results here from the first moto if we can. Try to do some quick math in our head.
That gives Dante an overall because Dante finished 3rd in Moto 1, and there's nobody in front of him nobody that's finished in front of him is right behind him. So he's going to go 3-1. There's nobody that's going to get a better or a lower score than Dante. So as of right now, he's the one that is in control of his own destiny.
So there we go. So you got it right there, Mark. It was Drake, Brown, Oliveira, DeMartile, Gardner, your top 5 in Moto number 1. Now Drake appears to be out. Where's Carson Brown at currently?
Carson Brown is currently in 4th. Wow. He finished 2nd in Moto number 1. So he might get 3rd overall because Dare, I believe, finished. What did Dare finish?
Dare finished 4th. So if Dante,
they would tie in points for 2nd. Dare would get it with a better second Moto finish. So your podium would be Dante, Dare, and Carson.
Dante finished 3rd in Moto 1, trying to combine it with a 1. That would be a very, very low 4 for one of the most well-rounded dirt bike racers in the sport right now. I am telling you guys, if you're just watching this broadcast from wherever you may be and you don't know the name Dante Oliveira, make sure you learn it because I put him right up there with a Chase Sexton. I put him up there with a Hayden Deegan, these great stories. I put him up there with all of those tough racers in the GNCC series, all the tough off-road racers. Dante Oliveira is an absolute stud, and he is in position to potentially win this thing. I do believe the white flag's coming out. Let's not jinx Dante, though, because wasn't it just a month ago we watched him make a rare mistake right here at Glen Helen? White flag waves, and I think, remember, Giacomo Redondi was chasing Dante, and he ended up in a bush up on top of the hill.
Exactly. Yeah, you couldn't write a better script for Dante. He definitely has a motorcycle that you know that he knows how to get it to the finish line. So that Bobby Dawson tuned KTM 300 SXF or SX is definitely purring towards the finish line right now.
Not a bad showing for getting on a two-stroke for the first time since 2017 and entering the two-stroke nationals for the first time. And what I love is I think this speaks to all the great sponsorship, all the great media coverage, all the great exposure of this event. We're seeing new riders wanting to enter this. They want to expose their brand and their sponsors. Dante wanted to give Red Bull and KTM some love. He wanted to show everybody that he could win the two-stroke nationals. And right now, he is proving his case as that KTM 300 screams 22 stories up Mount St. Glen Helen. Just a few more turns to go as Dante looks to add just another achievement to one of the most impressive resumes in the history of dirt bike racing.
Well, and how about something for the off-road guys?
Yes.
You got off-road guys on the 2 out of 3 on the podium so far. If Dare can keep it together on the beta on this last lap, 2 out of 3 guys on the podium in the Open Pro class are full-time off-road racers.
Unbelievable, guys. Hopefully you get to watch the broadcast that Mark Tilley and I do at the NGPC series, and we talk about this man quite extensively because it's rare that he ever loses. He sometimes does, but it's certainly rare. Dante Oliveira, they just talk about his discipline, the focus, the poise of this young man. Doesn't get in trouble, not a partier, not about distractions, lives for riding and racing his dirt bike and becoming the best he can possibly be. As we take a look at our top 5, as Dante closes in, we got Dante Oliveira, Dare DeMartile, Bryson Gardner, Carson Brown, and Brandon Ray. A great showing here by Beta Motorcycles as well. Big shout out to them as they continue their banner year. Beta really becoming a household name here. No longer is it just the Big Four. Beta coming on strong. And here we go, Mark Tilley. We are just a few turns away. Who would have thunk it? Your winner, two-stroke Nationals, Open Pro Moto 2. It is the five-time NGPC champion. Now, the one-time two-stroke national world champion. He came, he saw, he conquered. Dante Oliveira, congratulations, my friend.
Now let's see. The big thing now is, will Dare come across in second? That looks like Dare right there. So it looks like Dare will get second overall if our math is right. He'll get second overall. Coming across in third is Bryson Gardner, I believe. So that's 2 betas in the top 3 in Moto number 2. And now we're looking for Carson Brown.
So that'll be a 4-2 for Dare. It'll be a 5-3 for Bryson. Unfortunately, Derek Drake is out of here. He's not going to make the podium. Devastating bike failure for him.
So now we're looking for Carson Brown. If Carson Brown can come across the finish line in 4th, I think he's got the final step on the podium. And that looks like Carson Brown right there. I believe Carson will get 3rd overall.
Wow. We'll sort it all out. But Carson deserves a gold medal just for charging back after that crash.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to have all those guys up here talking to him very, very, very soon. So stay tuned for that.
All right, guys, we'll be right back to sort this one all out. Don't go anywhere. The conclusion of the 2-stroke World Championship. We'll be back right after this.
This live stream is being brought to you by Fasthouse, the official racing gear of the World 2-Stroke Championship.
What a day it has been. What a race it was. Everything we thought it would be. It's the Wiseco World 2-Stroke Championship hosted by Fasthouse. What an awesome race. You want to talk about some unpredictable horsepower theater. We thought that one was a foregone conclusion. Again, this brutal sport teaches us that you can't count anything until it is over. Very, very disappointing out there for, unfortunately, Derek and that whole crew, as he had a major, major lead. But we're trying to figure out what the motorcycle failure was for him. But great performances by, I do believe now we have our top 3 figured out, as it will be Carson Brown on the podium. Another great run for him. Derek DeMartile and Factory Beta coming home with a 2nd. And Dante Oliveira, your winner here today. Stepping in now is a man who won this event 2 years ago, 2nd place last year, does a fantastic job. Carson Brown, I got to say congrats, because that is the way to salvage, my friend. Tell me what happened there, unfortunately, in the start where you went down, because we got to believe if you didn't go down, you probably would have been up there battling for the lead.
Yeah, the first moto there kind of got a bad start, and Derek had a good lead, so I'm like, I'm going to save some energy and come out swinging for a second one. We did a few rear brake adjustments, and we went out there, got a good start. That second one, second corner, went in, no brake, crashed it up, and it came through the pack. No rear brake, but we made her work, made the best of it. We're not quitting. So definitely a bummer. I'm even more bummed for Derek because he had a fantastic day going, so I can't be too mad.
Well, I'm so glad you're okay. And like we said, we know you're always a threat to win this thing. We were getting texts from Jamie Ellis from Twisted all race long. He's so proud of you. What do you like riding better? I think 2 years ago you won on a YZ300, right? And then you've done a great job on this Frankenstein bike. Which one do you prefer?
Yeah, I mean, both bikes are absolutely amazing. I mean, Twisted kills it on these 300s. So, I mean, the RM I'm feeling really comfortable with. Travis at TBT got the suspension dialed in this year. Yeah, just a little bummed that second moto that I couldn't go through with it, but dude, there's always next year, and it's all about fun anyways. I mean, we're railing 2 strokes. I had a blast ripping through the pack and made the best of it. I had a smile all the way.
Always great to see you, your family, your team. Big thanks for Red Bull for being here with that awesome display you had in the pits. When will we see you next, Carson?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some cool races coming up. We've got the Fox Hills VMX stuff and Ayresburg, Tennessee Knockout, all that kind of stuff. But, man, yeah, huge thanks to Red Bull and All Balls, Motorsport Hillsboro, and Backyard Designs, Dirt Bike Magazine, BBR Motorsports. Dude, all these guys are making this happen and keeping the fun train going.
Congratulations. Go enjoy it. Guys, give him a round of applause in the comments. He deserves it. Went down in the beginning of the race and still fought his way back up to a podium position. The one and only Carson Brown doing a great job. He's got his lovely assistants here, too. He's always got some help from his lovely assistants. We appreciate that, and we look forward to seeing Carson back real soon. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk about a gentleman I know well from the AMA National Grand Prix Championship Series. And I remember asking him a few months ago, Dare DeMartille, you're so fast. What do you think about someday entering the 2-stroke World Championship? Well, not only are you here, my friend, second place, incredible, great performance for a bike that you guys were able to throw together last minute and get it done. Tell me all about it.
Man, yeah, Carlin gave me the call last week and basically was like, hey, you got a race down at NGPC down in Paula, you know, and he's like, how about we just build you a bike and throw you out with my brother, and you can practice it Thursday, practice it Friday, and go out and, just do what you can and have fun with it. So, like I said, this is where I started with Beta back in 2020, 21, I'm not too sure what year, but I rode for Beta here. It was my first ride with him, and then after that, Snowball. I've been with him for almost 4 years now. So it's a blessing. I'm happy. Shout out to my manager, Carlin, for putting it all together. I think we were looking good. We didn't know how we were going to finish, but, man, I'm just happy to be back on the box.
Well, I love the story of Beta and the whole Gardner family that you work with, because I often tell it. Years ago, Carlin grabbed me when he was just a privateer and got with Beta and said, you watch, we're going to make this thing happen. We're going to be a big name. We're going to get into Supercross. And with what you've been able to do out here between NGPC and now the 2-stroke Nationals, how proud do you think you're making these guys?
Oh, man, it's all a team effort. I'm proud. They're proud. Everyone wants to do good, and it's just, it takes a lot of hard work. And, my family's involved, all my family members, my girlfriend, everyone's really in tune to make this all go around. So it's a big deal. And I couldn't be more blessed to be part of the Beta team. It's awesome to be a part of the NGPC Work Series and to come out and do races like this for them and be competitive. So it's awesome.
Well, no longer is it just the Big Four. Beta proven they are a major player out here, whether it's Supercross, off-road, or motocross. Congratulations, Dare. Big shout-out to Dad, who got a much-deserved weekend off. We'll look forward to seeing you in Paula here in just a little bit.
Yeah, I'll see ya. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dare DeMartille, Factory Beta, getting it done. Unbelievable. What a storybook season for them it has been, and just about every single organization. And what a tremendous race it was. Guys, I told you moments ago about how Dare DeMartille, one of the top talents in NGPC. There's this other guy out there that you may have heard of him. I like to affectionately call him the five-time, and now the one-time 2-stroke World Championship champion. Dante, another impressive accolade on your resume. How'd you get it done, man?
Yeah, I got a little gift there. Derek Drake, he was riding awesome both motos, and I think he had a little bike problems on that second moto. He ended up going off pulling off the track, so that put me right in the spot to get the lead. But yeah, what an awesome day! Shout out to Bonanza Plumbing. Couldn't do it without him. He came to KTM and got me 2 bikes, and then FMF got me an exhaust, and my mechanic tuned them up. So shout out to those guys, and what a blast it was. 2 terrible starts in both motos, but got to work through the pack, make some battles in there, and yeah, what an awesome day. It was super deep that first moto, and then just awesome the second one with a nice beat-up track, some different line options, and yeah. What a fun day it was.
Well, that's impressive considering you're used to those dead engine starts that we see out there. You don't often leave off the gate. One thing that I always brag about you is your versatility. We're seeing it. You dominate NGPC. You've won a GNCC. You're this close to winning 6 days. It seems like you can do it all, man. Why do you think you're so versatile?
Just growing up, I did everything. We'd go to the local fairground races. They'd have flat track going on Moto the next day. We do the flat track, we do the Moto, and then we go and race the hare scrambles on the weekends. And growing up at Hollister Hills, we have the trails, we have the little vet tracks and whatnot. So I raced everything when I was little and practiced everything and had some good trainers as well. So, yeah. Was
there a bit of an adjustment period switching over to a two-stroke, or did you feel right at home once you got on it?
Right at home. I was a late bloomer getting to the four-stroke, so I've been on two-strokes all my life. And once I heard I was doing it, I was stoked. And it took me a couple laps to get comfy out at Fox, but that first moto I did out there, I just all smiles and a great time.
And finally, we're just right up the road from headquarters of KTM, Temecula, California. I know a lot of the guys out here loving the action at Glen Helen. What's it like to have all the factory support and all your teammates out there with you in the pits?
You know, it's awesome. Cruising to the shop, getting all my stuff dialed in for the week, and seeing the old familiar faces and catching up with everybody, because even the Supercross guys, technicians, WP technicians with Supercross, they're all gone on the weekends. So getting to see those races during the week, and it's nice. And the support crew we have is insane. So when we have a big group that wants to win like me, it's just that much better.
Well, Dante, congratulations again. Anybody you'd like to thank before you get out of here?
Bonanza Plumbing, FMF, Factory, KTM, the whole FMF KTM team, Alpine Star Gear, Ashok knee braces, my mechanic Bobby Dawson, my lady Carly, my parents, and just everybody putting on this event and keeping dirt bikes alive. Thank you.
Great job, guys. Send him some congrats in the comments. Dante Oliveira getting it done. He might have had one of those oil of oregano shots today. That's one of his secret weapons. He is awesome. Just outstanding. Great job getting it done. Very, very prestigious. I got to get Mark Tilley back in here and get him to react to this. Mark, I often harp about the versatility and the accolades of Dante Oliveira, and now to add the two-stroke world championship to his already impressive resume. I mean, you cover everything with Dirt Bike Magazine. Where does Dante Oliveira rank right now in terms of what's going on in the motorcycle world?
You know what? He's got to be one of, if not the fastest, one of the most versatile riders. I mean, he's already won our Rider of the Year award a few times, but man, it seems like whatever he puts his mind to, he's winning. So he got a little lucky this in this event, but man, I'd rather be lucky than good. I mean, and we talk about in the on the off-road side that he doesn't make very many mistakes. His brother is hot on his heels, but the family has a great base and a great program. The KTM guys are 100% behind him. He's got Bobby Dawson who works on his bikes, and I haven't seen him have a mechanical or anything like that in a long time. So, you know, shout out to those guys. Timmy Wiegand, the team manager, letting his racers race one-off events like this, letting them go and race nationals. Like, Timmy is definitely a great mentor for those guys. So, I don't think there's any stopping him anytime soon, that's for sure.
I love it. And again, I want to brag on our production with Ross Fitz Production and our producer Trevor Hawking and Dirt Bike Magazine coming together, because here's what I think. I think the factories and the big sponsors, they see the value in these streams, and they say, hey, they're going to be live streaming the Two-Stroke Nationals. Go out there, Dare DeMartile. Go out there, Dante. Represent us. We know we're going to have thousands of people watching online, and that's what we want. We want exposure.
Yeah, it's all about getting exposure for their riders, for the brand, everything along those lines. So it's definitely a cool thing that these guys are letting them come do this and letting them ride their motorcycles. And, I mean, look at all those fans. I mean, it's pretty amazing. All of those people had their eyes on Dante's motorcycle, let alone all the people that are watching us.
Yes, indeed. Well, the only sad part now, Mark, is that has brought us to the end of this portion of the Two-Stroke Nationals. Any closing thoughts here as you reflect on what was a sensational race at Glen Helen?
You know what? I'm blown away by the progression of this event. I mean, last year we were saying it was bigger than the year before, and we started these live streams. I think these live streams are bringing a lot more people out to the races. And like I said, I couldn't park the Dirt Bike Magazine motorhome inside the areas that we normally park because there's too many people here. And I mean, there was over 1,000 riders, I think, is what people were saying. So, I mean, it's amazing that we're getting this big of a turnout for this type of event. And my final thought is, if you're not here next year, you're in the wrong spot.
Get here, guys, if you can. Well, thanks to Mark. We're going to have one more amateur moto coming up on Racing Jack YouTube.
Exactly.
So check that out. That'll be awesome. A lot of cool guys here, but really, we want to thank everybody. Give this broadcast a share. Give it a like. Comment where you're watching from. Comment with your feedback. And take it easy, haters. Remember, this takes a lot of hard work.
And I think that it's going to be the Posha 50 Pro class with Dubach. You got Imig's going to be in it. There's going to be all kinds of people in this that you're going to want to see on the Racing Jack YouTube channel.
Thank you very much, Mark. I really appreciate it. This has been the Wiseco World Two-Stroke Championship presented by Fasthouse. Big thanks goes out to Lectron, Shoei, Wiseco Performance, Lectron Fuel Systems, Glen Helen Raceway, Dirt Bike Magazine, Motocross Action Magazine, High Torque Media Group, Yamaha, Pro Circuit, and Toyota. Guys, we'll see you in Paula for NGPC. We'll see you right back here for Moto Fest. For all the folks from Glen Helen, for Ross Fitz Productions, for Mark Tilley, my name's Jack Corpella, and we'll see you at Moto Fest. So long, everybody. Happy Easter.